Topic 1. During the Olympics, the Norwegian team was fined for not playing in bikinis. While men are able to play in shorts, women are required to wear bikini bottoms. While a regulation like this might seem unreasonable, is there ever any time a dress code should be instituted? What if the dress code is gendered? Or is this a custom that should end immediately? All right. Introductions, and literally take as long as you want. So Sarah, you first.
I would definitely. Well, first of all, I want to say like I feel like sports shouldn't be separated by gender. Um, and I don't know if that would fix like the issue with dress codes. Maybe. But I don't know. Like, there's no unless there's like a valid, like a practical reason for there to be a dress code about something. Like, I was reading the article that you included with that topic, and it was just like impractical for them to wear bikini bottoms because like the sand gets everywhere and they're playing like do they play barefoot? I don't know. And I was just like, well, there's no reason for that to happen. And yeah, I think that's my take.
Maddie.
Sport
You're
where
muted.
you. Oh God damn it!
No, you're good.
You're
You're
not
good. You're
muted.
good.
No,
It always takes.
Okay, I was like, wait,
it,
what?
it always takes a
You
while for your
started speaking.
mic to warm up every time. It gets me
okay.
too. I think you're muted as well,
Yeah.
but it always takes like a second. But go ahead.
So so I played a sport where you have to wear like teeny tiny little spandex shorts. Played volleyball, and like that, while it was annoying, I appreciated that it allowed for like a lot of like free movement, because in volleyball, like you're diving on the ground, you're jumping, you're doing a bunch of stuff. Like I got floor burn on my shoulder blade from like diving. That's a place you do not expect to get floor burn, but you do. At the same time, I think it's so stupid that they require like a specific uniform for something like volleyball, for something like handball. I get it when it's a safety concern. So like in the case of soccer, they wear shin guards because turns out when you have people kicking a lot and using their feet, there's a danger if you get kicked right in the shins. Same thing with something like hockey. They should wear a helmet and like have standardized like safety protective gear. In volleyball, the protective gear that we use are knee pads. So like not everyone wears knee pads, but like you really should. But in the case of your actual uniform, there's no reason why you shouldn't just be able to wear something that makes you comfortable. One example of a team taking a stand against this was the German women's gymnastics team. They purposely wore a full bodysuit, sort of to take a stand against the hypersexualization of gymnasts in like tiny unitards. And I thought that was a really brave choice. So the notion that, yeah, men are fine in shorts and women somehow are in violation of something because like their butt cheeks aren't hanging out. I don't know. If that's going to be the case, why can't we just require the men to wear bikini bottoms?
Okay.
Yeah.
Josie.
So, they're athletes. Let them play what's comfortable. If because like some people don't like wearing bikini bottoms because especially in running sports because their skins rub together and that could chafe really bad. And then certain shorts will ride up while you're in the middle of your competition. And that's very uncomfortable too. Like athletes train to actually like perform, and the clothing and things like that shouldn't be an impediment to doing so. And if they can make a perfect serve in spandex shorts versus bikini bottoms, well, guess what? They should just wear what's comfortable to them, whoever they are. And so when it comes to like uniforms in general overall, because I'm always going to bring it to the I always pull it out, is that the only time I ever really think uniforms are acceptable is in like if you're in like a uniform service. So like if you're a police officer, if you're a military member, EMT, even like doctors and nurses with like scrubs and things like that. And but a lot of the like doctor uniforms, for example, are pretty gender neutral. The United States Navy just changed their dress codes to make all of their uniforms gender neutral, which is a huge thing. And that's a massive change in the uniform code. So we're starting to see this trend even in the uniform services of taking out the gendered clothing as a whole. And honestly, to find a female for or female team for not wearing, thirst trappy bikini bottoms is just not it's not fair. It's just another way that women are objectified and punished with financial means for because of their body. It's like just it's so archaic and so like I thought this is 2021 and we're still fining women for like the clothing that they're putting on their bodies.
Yeah.
And it's quite disturbing to say the least. So yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think so I actually I kind of want to explore this and just see like the limits of this. So are you saying, are all of you saying that there is no places where a dress code, right, should be worn, like, and I'm saying like outside like a hazardous like site or something, like, or construction site. You're saying that there's no dress codes that we should have?
I mean, when you look at like teams, for example, like I could understand like wearing a jersey
Mm,
with a number and a name and a color for the
mm,
sake of easy sportsmanship and the audience to be able to see who they are. But you see it all the time. Like when you see a player playing any sport, like male in particular, like they'll have a knee brace or they'll wear like spandex shorts that are longer than the shorts that they're wearing because of it keeps everything closer together and tighter for their muscles. There are
Mhm.
so many little things that people change all the time. And like when you're talking about like comfort level of like your pants and things like that, as long as it's in the right color of the uniform code, then it should be fine.
mm.
That's usually my
Yeah.
limitation is like colors.
Or like one thing, at least with sports, one thing I could potentially see as like, okay, that makes sense. In a contact sport like soccer, I think it would make like when they say, your shirt should be tucked in or your jersey should be tucked in. A lot of that is like because that way the refs can better see whether or not there's like pushing and shoving going on. So it's like it's directly related to like the safety of the game, and that's why they also say like you can't have like tassels or things trailing off because like that could easily get caught by some like on someone else's jersey, whatever. So like there are certain, I think, restrictions, at least in the sports arena, where it makes sense because if it allows for the game to be called fairly and for the players to not like put themselves at risk of getting injury. um like that's, for example, the reason why in soccer you can only wear like special like rubber cleats, not the metal cleats that you would wear in track and field, because again, it's a contact sport, so there just have to be a few other considerations because it's not just someone doing their sport in isolation. Like what they're wearing impacts the people around them, but like in that case it's more a safety concern. um I know a couple of years ago, actually, or maybe it was not a couple of years ago. I'm so fucking old now. Maybe it was like 10 years ago. Um, the type of swimsuit that swimmers wear changed dramatically because now I think a lot of them, especially in men, they don't always wear the like Speedo anymore. It's the ones that like cover the entire leg. And there was some controversy for a while because people who are wearing those swimsuits were posting in like much better times. So there was question in like the swimming community of like, does this actually make it so that people have like an unfair advantage? Because like they were swimming way faster than what they were with the other uniforms. So in those cases, it's like, yeah, I would ask like, is it a safety issue? But if not, I don't know. Like I played against a girl in high school. She was also like a competitive player who was Muslim, but she didn't cover her hair or anything, but she covered her body fully. So she always had a long sleeve like compression shirt underneath or like long sleeve, and it was like no one cared because it was like, yeah, that's what if that's what she needs to play, then who cares? Good for like she should do whatever she needs to do. I'm still going to beat her team because I am vicious, but that has nothing to do with what she's doing.
So, I was thinking of taking this. So I was just using the Norwegian team as the springboard.
Mhm.
But I was thinking of taking this outside of just the realm of sports, because I think Maddie, I think you listed all the great reasons why you should have a dress code, like within sports, like all that.
Dress codes in general, yeah.
Yeah. But if we take it to, for instance, work and school, like do dress codes make more sense? So, like at work, what?
I went to a school without a dress code
Mhm.
in high school.
Mhm.
Yeah, very super liberal, crunchy public school in the Bay Area. And honestly, it wasn't a big problem. I think the only things that were banned were if there was like a seriously profane like image or something on someone's t-shirt. They were like, all right, like you can't have that just like at school. That's not cool.
Mhm.
But I liked that because it, even when you're given that much freedom, it just allows people to dress however they're comfortable. And it was at an age where you're already feeling so self-conscious and you're trying to figure yourself out and you're in that transition to like become an adult. So you're trying to balance like dressing more adult, but you're still a kid. And like, it's nice when you can allow people to just, again, dress how they want. And for the most part, it like wasn't like no one really violated it, or like, you know, no one was like showing up to school in a bikini. No one was showing up, like guys weren't showing up shirtless. Because people also wanted to like be comfortable. And hey, listen, if they're going to be comfortable in that, like, you know, in a bikini or whatever, then I probably wouldn't like going through class, whatever, but that's sort of their own decision to make.
But like so there may not be a dress. So there may not be a uniform, but there is a dress regulations, right? Like so. But that makes
I
sense.
think you couldn't like have your genitalia like.
I think maybe we can start with that one. Yeah, but I would imagine there was, because I went to a school without like a uniform set either.
We didn't even have a dress code, but like my middle school did. My high school did not.
Yeah, so I went to one. They tried to institute, at some point they tried to institute a dress code, like with, like, got it come with like a white shirt and like slacks or something. And my school in particular, we just said fuck it. Like my principal was like, we're not gonna do this. And so we did it like for a few weeks, then people just stopped showing up, and then was like, oh, whatever. So I'm not sure if that was ever rolled back in the whole district, but the point is that we tried it, and they tried it. They failed. But still, even then, if you, as a woman, right, as a young girl, came in with a skirt like too short, that's gonna be an issue, right?
What is too short?
Yeah, because like,
Define
so
that.
in my middle school, too short, they said it has to be where if you have your arms at your sides and you're standing up straight, your skirt or your shorts can't be longer than your finger. The problem is, like, I had a friend who was a gymnast, and like where her arms fell, on her
Oh, but-
legs were so much higher than anyone else. So it was such
That's
an
fair.
arbitrary. Oh yeah, like, and it was funny because I remember
mine's
like
right above my knee. Like I have
yeah,
long,
so
long
like
arms.
whereas me, yeah, I like had long, and so mine was
Yeah.
like really long, but it doesn't fall at the same place for everyone.
Mhm.
So it's like when we think about, well, like how short is too short? Because some people are also like really tall, so like just finding shorts, like if the
Oh,
rule is like, oh, it has
God,
to be below
don't
your
even get
knees or
started.
something. It's like
having
yeah,
to buy tall dresses because like if you just buy like a normal dress that's like built for like a 5'5" woman versus like somebody who's
Mhm.
5'7" plus, like it's like all of a sudden every dress becomes sexy. It's like
also I have like, but like my torso's kind of short and I have long legs, so like it was damn near impossible. I'm just like like I could have long shorts, but they're gonna look short on me. So like
Okay. All right. So
yeah, Josie.
all right, but you two are saying, how short is too short? Come on, come on.
It's true.
You want no, you want to
Well-
understand exactly what I'm talking about. And if you see,
Do I?
and if you saw
what
a
you're
girl
making-
with a skirt that was too short, you'd say something. You'd say
Are you
even,
making
not
you know
even
it
not
when
to
you
her.
see it
You're
argument?
thinking in your head, like you'd be thinking about that. Okay, so like, don't tell me you don't know. Like, oh, define it.
It's like you're literally making you know it when you see an argument. I love it.
But it's true. Hold on. But shouldn't, I mean, we could make
her
up a rule.
vulva is out, then I don't know. like-
Okay, there we
Vulva
go.
is out.
The vulva is out.
but-
Maybe a little.
But that's like
What?
And I'd be like, girl, tuck that back in.
I know. Like nobody wants to see that.
I'll be like, oh no. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's weird too, because what the justification that is usually used when they're saying like what these are, they're like, oh, it poses a distraction. It's like, to who? And are we like, in that case, I'm like, they're like, oh, but the boys get distracted. I'm like, are you blaming the women for the boys?
Yes.
Okay.
Behavior?
Hold on. Okay. Oh, we are now. It turns out we're gonna fight.
There we are. Yay!
Turns out it was inevitable. I'm just thinking.
I knew Maddie would pull it out of you.
All right. All right. So, come on. Just come on. All right. Look. If I'm wearing shorts so tight, right, that you can see the definition of my testicles, right? Don't tell me that you're not going to be distracted, and don't tell me that that's not my fault, right? Or can you not blame
I'm gonna
me?
be distracted. I'm gonna be distracted for your wardrobe malfunction. I'm just gonna empathize with you. I'm like, why did you make that choice?
I think I was gonna say, I think I'd be distracted because I'm just like, what, like what fashion, like what top goes with that? Like you're wearing those kind of. I'm just like, what are you? What is this? What is he going for here? Like, what magazine did this emerge from?
Yeah. What possessed you to wear something so tight that you could see the
But yeah.
outline of your balls?
No, because like, well, to be
Like,
fair, like in volleyball, so this I didn't wear in middle school when we played volleyball. Well, I only wore the spandex shorts playing like competitive club volleyball. School volleyball, we wore like our gym shorts, and like, but I remember in high school, especially like before a game or something, we would like wear, like we'd have our uniforms on, whatever, or usually like our practice shirts, and we'd have our like just our spandex on, and we'd be hanging out like in the like school, what we called the quad, which is like the main sort of outdoor area where people hang out at lunch and stuff. But like this would be right after school, and we would like be wearing it and hanging out. People would still be, sitting around school. At other schools, that might be seen as like a violation, but it's like, I mean, if it was pulled way too tight, yeah, maybe you might have a little camel toe, but it's like that's what we wore. That's what we wear in the gym when we're playing the sport. So it'd be kind of weird to say like, oh, it's okay when you're like jumping and diving on the floor, but like not before the game. Don't let anyone see you wearing that, you harlot. So I don't know. It's like, it doesn't have to be, I mean, granted it's a society thing, but I'm like, bodies don't have to be inherently sexual. Also, like, especially if we're talking about middle school kids, like middle school boys will get boners from anything. So like that is
That's
not
true. And there's like cheerleaders
a
walking
good
around with short
yeah.
skirts and all that type of stuff. That's part of the uniform as
Yeah.
well. And all the only thing they're wearing under the skirts is spandex, right?
But
This underneath their sport.
that's
It's
part of the
true.
dress code, is it not?
But I'm just
Uh,
saying, like, that's what it's to. Some
The
of
onus
those
seems to
cheerleader
be
outfits.
placed more on
Yeah.
women
Sure.
than men is the problem.
hold on.
With
Yeah,
dress codes, the onus, like,
I
it
would
seems to
love.
penalize women more than it penalizes
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
men.
agree with you there.
And
But go ahead, Saren, please.
I'm
Mhm.
I feel like certain dress codes are used to police like a very specific type of woman. I want to say like women of color are definitely more affected. And
Mhm.
for me, like in high school, I have like a bigger chest area. So I was constantly like pulled aside for something that was like too low cut, and it's like, well, what do you consider too low cut? Like if you see like this much cleavage, is that like inappropriate? Or like um
Whereas if a
um
girl with like a smaller chest wore the exact same
mhm.
thing, right? Like they're
And
not going to be shocked.
I carried that like anxiety with me today. Like I go to like interviews and I'm afraid. I'm like, am I showing too much? I had to wear like tops that are like all the way up to my neck when I go work because I'm afraid that people will like judge me for my chest area.
That's yeah.
I think that's fair what you're talking about. And so that's I specifically said gendered and not racialized, because racialized, oh boy, we go into another realm of bullshit here.
I also think it's like, yeah, it is super racist too.
Yeah. Oh no, they can be super racist. But I think on the gender territory, there's room for us to maneuver here. But no, I feel, and I'm honestly, Sarah, I'm sorry that it made you feel that way, and that like it's like still kind of like a complex you have now. And it's understandable if people are like, keep hassling you over that. But yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. And there's also the issue that a lot of times the dress codes, and Saren brought up a good issue, is that the dress codes are very unevenly enforced. So like all of a sudden you have Saren that had her chest develop sooner than, or maybe larger than other girls during her time, and then she was scrutinized more than the other girls, and that's not fair, right?
Mhm.
So and it also, and I'm glad we brought up the race issue too, because a person of color wearing something more, I guess, scandalous would be more likely to be,
Oh
punished
yeah.
before a white
Mhm.
woman does, right? And so there's those issues as well. So I like the way, like, I also in my school, I was in Texas, so my school was fairly strict with their dress code, and they had a whitelist system. But I think that it's better to do a blacklist system. So it's like, you can't wear these items, you can't wear profanity, you can't wear this, you can't wear that,
Mm.
and then everything else is fine, right? And having it administered that way on a case by case, rather than a, like, okay, these items of clothing are the only clothing allowed type of
Mm.
situations. And also another thing that also happens, and of course I'm going to bring gender identity into it, but like if a person who is early in their transition in high school, for example, comes in and wants to wear a short skirt like the girls at school like already are, and then all of a sudden they are going out and they've just started their transition or haven't started yet because the doctor issues or things like that, now that person's going to be scrutinized even more
Yeah.
so just for wearing the dress code that women are allowed to wear. So that's something as well that can also be a big issue, because a lot of these dress codes are written in a gender binary as well, and not with a trans lens in mind.
Yeah.
So that's also unfortunate too. So that's
Also,
why
like
dress codes can be dangerous.
well, and the notion that, like, for example, a really common dress code, like, point is no visible bra straps, right? Well, the problem is, like, for someone like me who does yeah, there's probably boobs there, but no one would know it. Like, I, can wear certain shirts and other things either without a bra or like with bra with like a bralette. But for certain people, like I had friends so I had a really good friend who eventually then had breast reduction surgery, which has just helped her quality of life. Like she had chronic back issues. It was a really big deal. But before she got that, like the bras that she had to wear had really thick straps because like that is the only thing that would work. But the problem is that like I went to school in a time where like spaghetti straps were really popular, especially if it's like a hot day in California. And she just could not wear them because even though maybe her straps are the exact same, or the shirt straps are the exact same size as any other girl's, because her bra had to have a thicker strap, or like a lot of times she just wear a sports bra. Somehow that was scandalous, and we would joke. She's like, if I didn't wear a bra, she's like, I would be like miserable, but she's like, but that would technically be within the dress code because you couldn't see a bra strap. And it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems like unevenly enforced. It punishes certain body types, and I don't know. And it makes me wonder half the time. I'm just like, is it really helping people like learn or
I
like
think
feel better at
in-
school?
Go ahead, Saren.
In schools, it's definitely there to like police people, police kids. It's like my freaking like my my administrator, whatever, the person punishing me for wearing like for showing like a tiny bit of cleavage, like she didn't care about, you know, whether I was learning. Like she just wanted to get me in trouble because she was like saw me as a slut or something. Because you know, it's like that's it really.
Yeah. It's almost like to discourage you from like, I don't know, like you're at that time of your like youth when your hormones are going, and it's almost a way to be like, pipe down. Like, no, like, yeah, you don't want to be a slut, do you? And it's like, bullshit.
Yeah, it's that Puritan society stuff. But yeah, and that's kind of the thing. It's like, and it's been so ingrained in us for so many generations. The Olympics are literally fining adult women athletes for it. You know what I mean? And it's
So
just
like,
it's
I don't
just,
see enough butt.
yeah, exactly.
Fine.
But sorry. So
I'm like bringing it out. I'm like, come on.
Pull it out. Pull out his bad tape.
Yeah.
However,
Cook it. Pull it out.
However, I'm not going to let you run away from this point, right? So I think there was a difference between saying that dress codes or regulations can be improved to we shouldn't have them at all, right? In school, it works, right? So I am sure you can imagine an outfit. I am sure you have worn an outfit that maybe would be up. Yeah, I'm talking to you. That you know, that was great for going out with a partner or with your friends, you know, to someplace and having a good time. But maybe you would. I'm assuming you would say is not appropriate for school, and that if you saw another woman or girl wearing that in school, you'd have something to say about it, at least in your head. Am I incorrect?
I definitely, here's the thing. So like, I think in professional settings, I like the only sort of like guideline that I think Google had was like, be clean. Like, make sure you look clean. Like, and it's like, it sucks that they have to sometimes like remind people of that. There were some developers who like, swear to God, they would show up with the same like ratty shirt, and it's like, all right, guys, like you need to like like, don't have visible stains and stuff all over yourself. Like, it's just not, that's not great. It's not a good look. But like, because I think about it, and like I think a lot of the reason growing up when I would like wear like a scandalous dress or something to go out, or like if I tried to wear it to school, usually my mom would just be like, absolutely not. But like I think it's because it was that like I was rebelling because I was in that like phase where you're trying to like establish yourself as like transitioning into being an adult, and that was my way of being like, you can't tell me what to do. And I also, unfortunately, had a lot of internalized misogyny where I bought into the notion that like my looks and body were like how I communicated like my value to people or whatever. And so, and I bought into that. And I think about it now, and like when I do see girls like going to school wearing stuff that maybe is equally scandalous, maybe a little bit more, I used to have that like judgy mindset, but I've tried to like confront my own internalized misogyny because I'm like, no, that's not me. I'm not thinking about this wrong. I was that girl, right? And like when I see that, and I'm like, you know what? She has I hope she has a long journey ahead of her to like figuring herself out, but I also don't want to like be judgy and being like assume that she's only doing it for like the benefit of other people. So I'm still conflicted. I have a lot of internalized misogyny about it, and I kind of have to keep myself in check.
But I'm not,
because it's fucking hard.
But I'm not talking about the purpose of doing it.
But everyone should do that. Everyone should check their internalized misogyny.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure. That great. But I mean, I'm not talking about the purpose as to why a woman is wearing what she wears. Women have all kinds of reasons to dress in a particular manner, right?
Hey,
and that's their business,
sexy,
not my business. But
yeah, if you're feeling sexy, look sexy.
Okay.
That's
sure.
And the thing is,
do you want me to
Prime,
push you on this? Because I'm going to push you on this.
You ready for me?
Wasn't
to
it Maya Angelou? Where in what isn't it a Maya Angelou line where it's like, "Does my sexiness upset you?"
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. That sounds like Maya Angelou.
It does the exact opposite to me, but like that's what I'm trying.
But the thing is. So this is the deal, Prime, and I'm gonna bring it to a philosophical place because everybody loves when I do that. It's the fact is, this entire conversation has been about what gender.
And
no.
I brought it to my balls. No, I included my testicles in there.
That's true, but you brought it as an absurdum. You didn't bring it in as an actual reality that women face every day. Like, so this is really what it comes down to. If social construction wasn't designed around the sexiness and the sexualization and objectifying of women, then we wouldn't have a lot of these problems. If it was the other way around and men were sexualized and objectified on a daily basis, going on commercials, and women are forced to say, this is what the beauty code is, this is what beauty standard is, I want to be sexy, so I'm going to wear a bikini. Like, those type of things are what mainstream society teaches young girls. So why wouldn't they want to emulate adults that they see all the time doing this type of stuff, going to, work, or they see them in like somewhere, they're like, oh, that secretary's wearing a really short skirt. That must mean I can wear a really short skirt to school.
Okay.
So like that's one of the biggest issues about the dress code conversation, that it's always 99% centered around the sexualization and objectification of women. Because we rarely are talking about men wearing booty shorts.
But except when I brought up exactly that.
Remember when the deep V was like into a thing? Like,
go ahead.
Yeah, like when men remember when like the man the deep V t-shirt was like the thing. It's like they weren't being men weren't being prevented from wearing like a deep V t-shirt, or the shirts that are like kind of the workout shirts, but they like clearly show you can look. I'm sorry if you hear squeaking, by the way, behind me. My dog is
it's fine,
being annoying. But like the shirts that have like the really huge arm holes where you can like see through it, like men aren't like prevented from wearing that stuff, and it's usually fine. At my school, it was only you couldn't like have like offense, like crude language or imagery on a shirt, and they were about like gang. You couldn't have like a
gang affiliation,
like a gang bandana, gang affiliation, because that like was a concern.
Okay,
we had a few fights.
So once again, we have a regulation that is reasonable. Okay, right? Hold on. Am I right or wrong? Does that sound reasonable? Saren?
What regulation?
The gang stuff I think is fine. Or I think that's a fine regulation, because we did have a gang issue. And
what? Okay.
Well, yeah, like profanity, like imagery, that's a fair regulation.
So that is. Okay, great. So Josie, right? So
that's unified. That's unisex.
Okay, great. That's fine. But we're getting to the point where you admit that I'm right. So look, this is far from the first time we've had this conversation on this channel, and we had it with different groups. We've had it with all guys and all ladies, and mixed. But like the next thing I'm going to bring up is like a swastika, right? Swastika on the shirt. Is that okay?
No.
No. Okay, great. So we have a regulation.
That's hate speech.
We have a regulation still in a code that we can get behind. All right. So we're establishing that dress codes and dress regulations, right? They have their place. That was the point of the question. So they have their place.
But
right?
why would a swastika? Let's play this out. Let's play
Okay,
this
sure.
logical
Mhm.
through. So why would a swastika be not allowed to be worn on a shirt going into school?
Because it would be a distraction.
And why would it be a distraction?
Because
Not because it's sexualized.
yeah. Oh no, if you're no, I know where you're going. They're saying that we ban different things for different reasons, right? Sure.
Oh, that's
Right.
hate
But a swastika, I think, like one of my people in the chat made a really good point. Like a swastika is different from leg skin.
Yeah, I know those aren't the same thing. I mean, unless I'm covered in swastikas. Yeah, I get it. We
right.
understand that.
Because it would cause a protest, a ruckus. Like a girl wearing short shirts is not going to cause like the entire classroom to be in an uproar and try to like tear that person tear their shirt off.
Because I'm not in high school anymore, so it's not going to happen again.
No. Okay. All right. No, we'll keep pushing then. All right. So we can go back to sexualization. All right. What about the regulation that you have to wear a top?
That's fair.
That's fair. Okay, that's fair. All right, sure. Because what would happen?
You know why though, right?
Okay.
Because you don't want sweat and like skin like just laying all over the place. It's a safety concern. You don't want janitors to be wiping every chair at every desk because freaking there's like back sweat on every chair.
That happens any which way. That happens when people sweat through their clothes any which way.
They do, but I'm just saying it's like you don't want to be like, I don't know. It's like you don't want like it's different, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, when you think about it, at a high school, you're like going to different classrooms and like sitting in the different chairs all the time. So yeah, if you're gonna be like sweaty and gross and stuff, that's just unsanitary. That's gross.
It's kind of like the way stores don't let people in with
shoes.
Shoes.
Yes. Well, feet are gross. So
feet are gross, and they should be hidden.
Okay. Flip flops are fine, though.
Yeah.
No.
As long as also it's a safety concern because you don't want people walking barefoot like on the ground, especially if you have to go outside at all.
Great.
Like that's also a safety concern.
But all regulations, right? But we've gotten that, right?
All can be evenly enforced.
But yeah, sure. Hold on. But you're saying that like a way someone's dress is not going to cause a ruckus, right? Coming on without guys going to a class without a top, right? That's going to cause people to glance, right? It'll cause some glances, right? Maybe not focus on the.
Actually, like what if they're on the swim team and they're just walking from the gym to the pool?
Yeah, they're allowed to do that, but they're not in the classroom.
Fine.
But they're not in the classroom.
Right, they're not in the classroom.
Okay, so we're talking.
But they're not gonna get penalized to hide their bodies.
Sure, understood.
When they're walking from that locker room.
We just install blinders when people are in class and they're like, "Look, you're gonna like a horse," you know, because they don't trust a horse. They're like, "Oh no, they're gonna see something. It's gonna spook them." And so you put the blinders on. Maybe we just have to install blinders for kids when they're in the classroom because they're like, no, it's math time. It's math time. You can't. Don't your peripheries.
So Amanda, in all capital letters, is telling me that people don't wear shoes on the floor of the Legislative Assembly. They walk around the Capitol without shoes. All right, well, see, there you go. Safety?
I mean, my school was like my California school layout. Like you had different buildings, so you had to walk outside. So like that would be the only reason I'd require some sort of shoes because like you have to walk outside on like concrete and like there are rocks and stuff.
Shoes, no shoes inside the.
Especially if it's raining. Yeah.
No shoes inside the school. All right, fine. Shoes outside, no shoes inside. Look.
As long as they don't smell, again,
let's get to it, okay?
Hygiene.
Talking about sexualization. Let's do it. But
there was
Okay.
one kid. There was one. I will say, like on the smell side, there was one kid I went to school with who, like, no, and I feel terrible about this, but I realized it like too late. I went to school with this kid. I sat behind him in, I think it was like a history class, in my sophomore junior year, and like he always had the worst BO stench, and like had the same jacket on. And I remember like making me and my friends would like not like we would like joke about it, whatever. But I realized later on, I'm like, wait, what if he was homeless
Poor, yeah.
or like his family was homeless and and he wasn't able to shower or like he wasn't able to get clean clothes every day, and like that realization just dropped like a nuclear bomb on my head. And I'm like, and I didn't realize that till like college, because I thought about it and I was just like, it did not even cross my mind as like a dumbass teenager in a privileged area that could be a real concern. And like it also made me view it differently, because I was just that is also a concern. So it's like, how do we also craft a dress code where like poor kids aren't penalized for being poor?
No.
You know?
In fact, actually, that's a reason for a dress code, and we can get back to that in a second, right? But let's talk about. Okay, my
But yeah,
favorite
made me feel like shit
subject.
for a long
Let's
time. I
talk
still feel
about
like shit.
boobs, okay?
Yeah.
Look, let's get it done, all right? Look.
Let's talk about boobs, Prime. Let's do that.
Somehow, we always
Finally,
come
honestly,
back.
finally.
All right, look. Right. So, a woman or a girl without a top, right? Now, you can say that it is wrong that the rest of the class may sexualize her or whatever, right? You could say that it's certainly wrong, and I would say that with you. I would agree. But the reality is the reality, right? And so the school is a place of learning, and we want kids to learn, to focus. I can assure you that as boy, I would not have been able to if a woman had shown up, or a teacher, like a teacher, right, had shown up without a top on. It'd have been a little bit difficult, right? And so
That's like underwear, though.
that's excuse me.
It's like underwear.
It's like underwear.
Like bras are like under. Are you just talking about without a bra, or are you
I'm
just
saying
talking
He's saying
about?
like that a shirt, like boobs out.
Yeah, boobs out.
Like
Let's
areola.
do it.
out?
Yeah.
Well, boobs out. That's just
Like
like
freeing the
silly.
areola, like nips up.
Like,
you know?
Okay.
like
Yeah.
shirts required. Like,
Oh, okay,
that
great,
seems-
great. So
Again, that could be it could be framed as a hygienic.
well, but whatever. But no.
like if they're wearing
no.
a sports bra,
I-
maybe if they're like a track team person.
Okay, great. Sure.
I've seen some crop tops
but I'm-
that toe that line of like,
Yeah.
is it a shirt? Is it not? And I'm like,
You know what I'm talking about. Like, you ladies know these outfits better than I know these outfits, right? Wearing a fucking Band-Aid around your chest, right? Look. Yes, you can say we
Just
should
look,
not
Band-Aid, the
sexualize
party outfit.
girls, right? Great, 100%.
It's party
I'm with
outfit.
you. But we understand that might be a little distracting. It might get in the way of the educational process. We get that.
Sure.
Oh, sure. Oh, great.
blinders would.
Oh,
This is
great.
where
So-
blinders would.
But no, we
So-
agree that like having items of clothing on your body for children is a good idea.
No. So I'm talking about items of clothing now. I'm talking about a Band-Aid for a top.
A
okay?
Band-Aid would not be
Just like
because
two Band-Aids.
Yeah, just two Band-Aids.
I wouldn't find that acceptable on a man either. If a man just came in with like little Band-Aids
but a
on
crop
his
top,
chest in the
right?
classroom.
No,
I think
a
it would be
female
okay to
crop top.
require.
If a man, if a male-bodied person wore a crop top, I'd be okay with that.
No, look. I'm not letting you keep trying to do it, and I won't let you do it. I'm not letting you run away from this, right?
I guess 'cause,
Boobs.
like,
We're
I
talking about
grew up
boobs.
in-
And boobs
Like
out.
if it was boobs out, like look, I would be okay. Like
You're
as long as we
bullshitting me.
enforced it similarly. No, because like listen, I said that my high school like didn't have a dress code, but like yeah, you couldn't go to school boobs out.
Oh, yeah.
That would be very
And
silly.
you agree with
People
that.
be like, lady, who stole your
And
shirt?
you agree with that, correct?
Yeah, but not because of the distraction issue.
Hold on. You don't, a woman walking around in the exact same outfit, right? Those scandalous outfits, you know what I'm talking about, right? That they go to clubs with, right? And which I'm very thankful that they do. But that same woman transferred into the context of a school, you're telling me that nothing is inappropriate about that. Nothing is distracting about that.
People went to my school wearing those kind of, like they shopped at like remember Wet Seal?
I don't know.
Like back in like the early aughts, like where like they had like those like it was the kind of like the after shine of the late 90s like club scene. So there were plenty of people that showed up to my school in like teeny tiny like basically like variations of bikini tops. Like that, and again, like growing up in California, we didn't have like we didn't have winter. So like it was hot all the time, and I don't know, like people would kind of go to school like that. Did I go to school like that? No. There was one time where I dressed up for Halloween as a ninja, but I wanted to be like a sexy ninja. So I had a bikini top, but then I wore fishnet long sleeve over it. And that was like my
you're Kunoichi.
outfit.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Listen, but like
She
I don't know. In those cases, it wasn't like, I guess because it was just normalized, where like you would see people wearing that kind of stuff all the time at school. No one really cared.
Okay.
I have a question. So
But, like no boobs were out.
why is it distracting for like?
Because boobs are boobs. No, fuck that. No, don't give me that. I'm
But,
sorry.
like, you can see
Saren,
boobs anywhere.
no,
If
Saren.
Maybe-
if it was normalized for people
Yes.
to have their boobs out,
Yeah,
then
but
it wouldn't
But
be
they're not
distracting.
normalized. But they're not normalized. Okay? So now you're going to be
Let's
talking.
normalize it.
Let's normalize it.
Look, hey, let's. I will turn off the stream, and
I'm
we
not
can
gonna fly. No
normalize
TOS,
it
no
between
TOS.
the
No
few of us
TOS.
Oh,
here.
is that what you
But
want from?
no, I'm
I
just
was like,
saying, if you wanna
No
take the
TOS.
first step, we can do
Spring
that here.
break.
But right?
I'll just
But
lift
it's
up
not
my shirt and there's
normalized.
another shirt.
Just like so.
I know there's a bra under here.
So working under society as it stands, right? Should we have a dress code? Should it be suds out, boobs out? Like I don't like you tell me.
It's like France.
I mean-
At any like professional or in any public pool or like public area, in their advertisements they can have boobs and it's like not a big deal. I don't know. I think it's like it's a cultural thing, and if you, I don't know, like again, I personally
Do their children
like-
do their children go to school with their boobs out? So, is that what you're saying in France? They're so permissive that their children go to
No,
school
I'm
with their
saying
boobs
that
out.
like in public spaces and other areas, like it's
Oh.
not only
It's
like
still
allowed, but it's
normalized.
common.
In other
But it's
areas.
normalized.
In
I'm
other
saying.
areas.
I'm saying it's normalized.
In other areas.
But the thing is, but Prime, I think we're arguing something that we're not arguing. Like the thing is, like I think a lot of us are saying, like, yeah, like have underwear, have shirts, have
Oh,
have
good, great.
some form of bottom and shoes. But we're not trying to sit here and be like, let's get the measuring tape. Oh, I see your bra.
No,
like that's
I
what
agree.
we're
No.
saying,
Remember, I started
As long
this.
as they have like a top.
No, I started this
Yeah.
in saying that having no dress code is different from having better dress codes. So I think if I hadn't spent like fucking 30 minutes wrangling you two into this position, right? Like we can
Wrangle.
come up with like
What am I, cattle?
a more fair dress code, right? Something
Everyone
that would
watching
work.
the Vosh thing does not know what they're missing.
They don't know what
right
they're
now.
missing.
We're
Because
talking
this
about boobs.
is fantastic.
But like yeah, so we can come up with a dress code, right? A dress code that, like, for instance, would have met like our friend Sarah and like made her feel like terrible. You know, we could do that. One that does not attack racial groups. We can do that, right? One that's fair and that's unisex. We can do that. But we can admit that for sexual purposes, that we might in our society say, hey, yes, we might need to hide these bits outside, let your freak flag fly, but in here in this space, maybe not.
you just said sexual purposes. Like, who's doing that?
Oh, sorry, what? Say it again.
For school, but like you said
Boys are doing
specifically
it.
sexual
Fucking boys
purposes.
are doing it. I'm fucking doing it, right? I see
Yeah,
my
but those
teacher
are gross.
come out. No, I'm looking at her boobs, right? And it's, and I am saving the image, right?
Boys
For
are like, yeah, boys are gross.
future to file a report. I'm saving the image to file a report. So.
Like, do I think that it's a good thing to codify that someone can't have like hate speech or like hateful imagery like on their person? Yes, I think that is a good thing to codify into like put into a dress code. Do I think it's like a good thing to say that like your balls and scrotum should like not be dangling?
Why not?
Out of your like pocket. Yeah, I mean, there's like the hygienic question.
No. I can wash my balls. Don't worry. I got it. All right. No, they're clean.
Yeah, but like,
They're clean.
If they're hanging out there, who knows what they're accumulating. Like, you never know.
Just
Same
like-
thing with like if
just like
someone's
your
labia
hands.
is just like bloop, like it's, you know, yeah, but I don't see like sanitation stations for genitalia. I see it for hands. You press the thing,
We
you
can
get a
come up with
little-
them.
Yeah,
yeah?
I mean, listen, me and my like
Labia
crunchy
corner
granola
on it.
hippie shit, I would love if we as a society could get to a point where like people could just go and like be naked and who gives a shit. I recognize that we aren't in that, but like,
Exactly.
but I think, I think
there
there's
is
a way to do it without
there's a minor
turning it to
thing, though.
sexualization.
But it is about sexualization. It is about sexualization. But it is. It is. I'm sorry.
I would not.
I'm sorry. I don't know why
Okay,
you're debating on this.
so
It
fine.
is.
Solution?
I'm gonna actually. Oh yeah.
I mean, no, the solution, okay, like we're talking about sexual stuff, right? I'm like, I would describe myself as like asexual, like demisexual, whatever.
Mhm.
So like if I see like like boobs are like in my face, I'm like, those are boobs. So my solution is everyone just be like me.
Oh.
and
Well, that works.
This is
not
perfect.
care about people's
Sarah's the ideal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be
So-
more like
this
Sarah
is-
Kitty.
This is
This is
the.
this is where I'm gonna push.
Okay, so I'll just say
I'm gonna
very
push
quickly,
back.
very quickly. This is the same argument where we talk about like getting rid of like gender identity, like gender like getting rid of the words like woman, right? Right, but like
Well,
it'd be
I
great.
wouldn't approve of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, sure. And
Yeah,
why
I
would you
don't know
approve
about
that?
being
Because
called a
there's
woman.
there's utility to it, right? There's a
I'm a
utility
lady.
to this,
I'm a
even though
girl.
maybe in the
Yeah,
future,
we're
right?
ladies.
And that gender non-binary dominant future, right? That we wouldn't that we actually could get rid of gender because it would be a pointless distinction because we've advanced so much. But right now we're not there yet. We still have uses for that, right?
So
right.
one thing, I don't mean to interrupt. I'm actually gonna push back on Maddie just a tiny bit. Tiny,
Oh god damn it. Okay.
tiny bit. Okay.
Oh god damn it.
Yes,
Okay.
I think that nudity and all that type of stuff needs to be normalized, except for people under the age of 18. Because then if you're
Fair,
going to
that's fair.
school,
Mhm.
like if you're like 16-year-old high school,
That's
all
fair.
that type of stuff, and like if a 14-year-old is going to school naked, that's not okay for all the adults that work in that school.
That's
well.
okay. Okay.
So there is a limit
Yeah.
when it comes to like that type of stuff when it reaches
Yep.
the ability for the eyesight of an adult to see the
But,
private bits of a
but,
child.
but
That is
why
super
not?
fair.
But
Okay.
why not? I mean, we're not.
Because
That's
child
pedophilia is a
porn.
thing.
and what is that? And what is that? What's involved in that? This
Well, that's
horror.
sexualization. Okay, that's the thing that happens.
But
And so we
that's
cover
why,
those
that's why
bodies,
I
right?
said
Those
you
shameful
cover,
bodies.
You
Sorry.
cover you not shameful
I
bodies,
know,
just the
I know.
private bits.
I know.
That's the private bits. like you know what I mean? Like you
Pasties
like if
for
I was a
everyone.
parent,
Pasties for
area.
everyone. Got
if I was a parent, like, and the reason that I would be like, if my daughter was going out in pasties to school, I'd be like, no, your fucking high school coach is there. I'm not gonna let you go there.
Mm.
Like, you know what I mean?
But
It's not about
You
the
would,
boys.
hold
or
on,
the
you would have
girls,
no
it's-
thought. You would hold on. The high school coach. Wait a minute. Actually, I think your priorities are completely backwards there, because the high school coach will more likely not do anything with your daughter, right? Than the boys, right? Who have less self-control, who have less understanding of consequences, who have maybe not have been taught to be better, right?
You don't know.
The
Prime.
boys should
Come
be
on.
worried,
Gross.
not the men,
Gross.
actually.
I mean, come on, Prime. Like, I knew
But,
at a
like, they're
young age
gonna
to not put my hands on people.
they're gonna try to hook up with your like beautiful daughter, like regardless of if she's wearing like
And to be
nothing
honest,
or is
I could
wearing
see a
whatever.
little,
Let's
I
not
could see a
blame the
little
things she's
Prime.
wearing for
I'm
boys
gonna
being
go.
horny and gross.
This is what so I could see little Prime in high school seeing little Maddie and not have the confidence to go up to Maddie if she was wearing pasties. Just be like, I think you're pretty.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like, you know,
I was
boys
a
wouldn't know what
metalhead,
to
so I wore like baggy pants, but like tight tops.
But
Because,
look,
you know,
look, okay, look. All right.
I had a fucking
you don't know me,
metabolism.
all right? But look, well,
No more.
so the point is, no, first of all,
I don't think
wouldn't.
you would know what to do with the Maddie and pasties in high school.
I don't know. I don't know what to do with a
I'm
Maddie.
Maddie
calling you
doesn't
out.
know what to do with a Maddie.
I don't know
and
what to do with a
pasties,
Maddie
but,
now.
hey.
I don't know what to do. I can't contain this woman. So, like, so look, but
Oh my God, Vashka has nothing on this.
it has
conversation.
nothing on this conversation. This is great. Look, all right, look, look. But I would say, right, and you're just gonna have to take my word on this, but I would say that your theoretical topless daughter would absolutely be safe with me in the same room, right? Like, not gonna touch her, not gonna do anything like that to your topless daughter. But to some other boys, right, who have not been taught, and we just haven't done a good enough job of that, of teaching them to be better.
And my daughter's gonna
that's-
get related to me,
That's
and I don't
already
take.
happening. It's a
Yeah,
non-unique
that
argument.
happens.
But yes, exactly. That's
Yeah.
my point. It's happening right now.
But-
Exactly.
But it's not going to increase the rate. If they're
Yeah.
over sexualized little boys, they don't care if you're wearing a tank top or freaking nothing.
That was my point. That was my point. It has nothing to do with like what the girl is wearing. Like they already are like hormonal as
Uncontrollable.
fuck.
No. My bonus happening one or the other. No, that's true. But what I'm saying is that like it does have effect, right? As a young man, right, consuming images of women, right? A woman in like one of those Mormon like on the ranch like clothing, you know what I'm talking about, right?
The secret undergarment that you're not allowed, like the
That, yeah, you know, like the old school like frontier type clothing, right? Like,
Are you referring to the Amish?
well, the Amish, but also like there's some Mormons that do that. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah, it's like the long skirt, whatever.
Yeah. Mhm. That the reaction I get from that, and a woman who is a woman or girl who is barely dressed. I mean, this is me as a child. Was barely dressed, right? Yeah, different. It hits different. So I'm saying, like, I don't know why you guys are fighting me on this, right? This is like an obvious thing, but you wanted to fight me tooth and it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. Josie will fight me. It doesn't.
You're just like, you can't tell me what to do.
Because Prime, you're gonna tell me right now you've never seen a woman dress modestly, and you're like, wow, that girl's cute.
No. I just said the same thing. I said like the boner is happening one with the other, right? But the reaction is different, right? The reaction is different, especially for
Is
others.
it though?
For me in
But
particular,
why is
I had a
that?
lot
Why
of
is it
self-control, and true. So, and you know what? I'll say that for most
My
boys,
areolas drive men crazy.
for most
Has to
boys,
be a
Is
girl.
that it?
for most boys, like even still, even naked, like you wouldn't have anything to worry about. But like, hold on. Okay, so, what was the problem again with the teacher sexualizing your hypothetical child, Josie? What was the problem with the teacher?
Oh, if the teacher sees your child naked,
Uh-huh.
like that is not safe.
Why
that
is it
child.
not safe?
Because they could be it's not because you don't want adults to be able to have access to the imagery of children like that.
Why?
Because they may
Because
act on
pedophilia is a thing, and they're a minor,
Yeah.
and they're with and they're with an adult who like
and-
isn't their guardian or parent.
And so, do you think that the danger for assault
I mean, I don't want my
is
kid like
any
alone
less
with their teacher
with
at all.
young, horny teenage boys who have less self-control and less understanding of the consequences? You think it's less for those kids?
I guess I'm fighting on this because I feel uncomfortable blaming what, like, even if they're minors or, you know, high schoolers, whatever, I feel super uncomfortable blaming, like, my hypothetical daughter and like what she's wearing or not wearing for the behavior of someone else, and then placing the burden on her to curtail that behavior. If that makes sense, I feel very uncomfortable.
Sorry, could you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
I feel uncomfortable, like, blaming my hypothetical daughter for what she's wearing or not wearing. I feel uncomfortable blaming her for the actions and fucked upness of other people, and saying that, like, somehow it was
We don't
her
have to blame. We don't have to
fault.
blame her. We don't have to blame her. There's got to be.
But
There's no
then-
blame at all, right? I don't blame you for like an environmental hazard, right? Like I don't blame the person who got hit by a flood, right? The flood is what it is, right? There was a storm surge, and you got caught up within it, right? It is what it is. It's part of reality, the reality that we live in. So I'm not
But if
blaming the victim.
if
I'm saying that the
if-
victim is living within a is living within our world, right? With the realities of that world. And so if there is news telling you a storm surge is coming, stay away from the beach, right? And there's signs, hey, stay away from the beach, right? Well, then they should stay away from the beach. If they do go, right? I'm not going to say, well, I'm not going to rescue this person because it's the victim, blame the victim. No, I'm acknowledging that they need to be saved and they're valid, right? Maybe there's
but
all
in
kinds of
this
reasons. There could be
analogy,
all kinds of reasons why
you're
they're on
saying
that
they're,
beach.
but in this analogy, you're equating, like, you're basically sort of saying, like, oh, but they have, like, knowingly put themselves into harm's way, which is again sort of like,
Or if they wander, if they
saying
wander
that-
blindly, if they have no idea what a storm surge is and wandered blindly, still I don't blame them. If
You know-
girls have no idea
but
what
it's not what
boys
the
are,
girls doing that's
So-
what boys are, then
harmful.
I don't blame them either.
And yet we're
but it
policing
doesn't matter.
them.
I'm not blaming
So
them. You're
Prime-
blaming them.
Prime-
I'm not blaming them.
Prime. So in women's studies,
Okay.
like there is the idea that a woman can go to a bar completely naked,
Mhm.
climb up on a countertop and say, "I'm gonna get laid tonight," and just completely be like that and go home with nobody.
Exactly.
But like she can completely do that, but the idea is going into that bar is not a storm, right? Because that shows that just being in a space with men that are hypersexualized is just like walking into a storm, which creates that borderline argument of she's asking for it,
No.
right? And it is.
No,
It's-
go
that's
ahead.
the stem of
Finish
the
your point.
argument. That's the stem of the argument, right? The stem of the argument is if you go into a place where there's a lot of horny guys, then you are putting yourselves in harm's way if you do not
Okay.
make yourself more modest.
Sure.
So
okay.
the analogy doesn't track, right?
Sure.
Because if you follow that analogy all the way through, then it's basically girls are
Okay.
asking.
Great. So, nothing will happen to your teenage daughter, right? Your naked, for some reason, teenage daughter, topless, for some reason, teenage daughter, when she is with any particular adult male, too, right? Like I mean, so like it sounds like you're making a special exception. So like I can follow you down whichever track you want to go, right?
Yeah.
So we can follow you down this track, but don't jump the track. So when
Well, the track is not jumped when it's 18 below.
Why?
Because it's always been that way in society.
Oh,
Minors
it's
have a
always been
different
that
category.
way. It's always been that
Minors
way.
have a different category.
Sorry,
Like
though.
when you're talking about minors, like if my daughter was 18, she can go naked everywhere she wants. I don't
I
care.
agree. I agree.
But before that age, like there is a way we have to protect we do
Protect from what?
because
Protect from what? Protect from what? Hold on. I gotta finish this. No. I gotta finish this. Protect from what, Josie? Protect from what?
protect from very bad humans that are adults that
Do you
that are
think?
predatory towards children.
Do you think those very bad humans, right, care as to the exact birth date of your child? Do you think they care?
If they're But if you go to so let's look at this way, Prime. Let's say we say, okay, this school allows girls to go to school completely naked all the time. Do you think that there may be people who maybe apply for that school for nefarious reasons?
if nefarious reasons, if
Like-
there is a work environment, like a office, like a regular office where you do, like, we work at a paper company, right? I don't know, right? In Scranton, Pennsylvania, just for example, right? That you can all work there naked, right? Then do you think there are people who might come there and apply for nefarious reasons?
But they're adults.
So what is it?
They're adults,
But
so
yes,
they
and they're
can.
adults, and those are adults. So those are
But
adults.
And then
children
they have
are
to be naked.
vulnerable.
But hold on,
Children are
women are vulnerable. Women are vulnerable.
No, they're not.
We're not having
like
this
that.
discussion again.
No,
We're not having this discussion again.
No,
We're not having this discussion
because
again.
women are
Groomed?
women are vulnerable. No, let's do this.
not.
Yes,
No,
they
they're
are
not.
vulnerable. In our actual
We're
society,
not having
yes,
this-
they are.
we're not having this
You can
discussion again, Prime.
define women.
We're not having this discussion again,
No. You can define women. There's some hold on. Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do.
Me and Josie are ready for this
No.
conversation, and I don't know that you are.
Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do. Right? One second. I just gotta pull up. All right. Because
Well, I think like,
because-
if you
Serene, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Serene hasn't
If
said
you're-
anything in a while.
if you're
No, I don't do
following
that.
like the logic of what we said before about people going to school naked and like the boys seeing them, then it has to be the same for minors. Like I get like kids are a separate category, but like
I
I
am
just don't
balancing.
see like the difference. Like I feel like we should treat everyone the same.
Yeah, so let's have one solid rule. I'm agreeing with you here. Let's actually have one solid
Yeah.
rule. So, Josie, right?
For
So I
everyone.
had my good friend, amazing friend, perfect friend, Joe the Silly Serious, look at that clip last week. Cause I'm like, am I like speaking a different language? I didn't know what the
Yes.
breakdown was, right? And I asked her, like, it wasn't me. It could be me, right? It could be me being a boneheaded man who just doesn't understand, all right? He should keep his goddamn mouth shut, all right? And let Josie run the show. But no, you're wrong. So I had her take a look. We can just a little bit of our DMs, right? And we talked about the vulnerability of women, and she says, as a feminist scholar, right? A woman who studies all these things, and I'm appealing to authority. I'm doing it right now. Yes, I'm doing it, right? She says women are more vulnerable. Women are physically more likely to be overpowered. Women have less access to material resources. Women are less likely to be believed. And yes, women's oppression is innate based on some definition of woman, in quotes, right? She says, Sally Haslanger, who is the most prominent gender metaphysician, whatever, defines women based on their shared oppression. Yeah, and anyway, yeah, so that's all the points that I have to do with you. But yeah, you women are vulnerable. You can. That's
did
a
you
way
Well,
realize
to
can I just
define.
say I love
Yeah,
that
go
you
ahead.
asked Joe. I love that you like went to Joe and like asked, because she is like she studies this stuff,
Yeah.
and I just want to say that I love that you went to her to like
Yeah,
ask for her.
that
advice
is-
on
that
it.
is-
I think that's really
that is
cute.
great.
She's amazing, and
And it
I,
shows that you're trying to be a good ally, and I love that.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's true. So Prime,
Mhm.
the thing is, what you just listed were reasons why women are vulnerable in certain sectors, right? And that's what I'm talking about. The idea, like there's a difference between saying adult women are vulnerable versus like children
Mm.
are vulnerable.
Kids
Why?
are vulnerable in a different way.
Yeah, they
I
can be
think.
groomed. They're not developed.
So
they
can
can be
adults.
tricked. They can be manipulated. Yes, but not as-
Research, and there's
yeah.
research that says that child predators do take like they are more likely to take jobs that give them access to children.
Yeah.
So that is also
and
like
pervs,
another.
and pervs that will take jobs that will give them access to half-naked women. Yes, got it. Great, 100%. Like you're not touching
That's
on
not what
anything
the data
new.
says,
Yeah,
sir.
well, oh yes,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, thank you. All right, so
Yeah.
no, but this vulnerability. I don't know why you're drawing this distinction, right? Yes, great. You can say. There's a scale of vulnerability, right? And you can say that
Yeah.
that even then, like vulnerability, like works on so many axes, right? It's not just age. I think age is actually not a really good way of figuring this out. It's not a great way of narrowing down the narrowing down, because it's not just age, it's like poverty, right? Access to resources, a young girl in a powerful family, right? Is going to be much more protected, right? Not invincible, but much more protected from the type of life that same young girl would be, right? In a place with poverty, right? And the things that she's going to experience, likely to experience. And there's other, I mean, we could come up with so much axes, like disability too, right? Like there's a whole list of reasons that can affect a person's vulnerability, right? Age is just one of them, right? But like, there was nothing magic. There was nothing magic, and we're not doing age consent. There's nothing magic about the age of 18, right? Nothing happens on her 18th birthday to make her less vulnerable to society and the way it reacts to a female body. Now we can say that the way society reacts to females' bodies is bad and incorrect. I agree with you. I'm not going to fight you on that at all. But to draw some special section that, well, my child, when they're 17 and a half, right? That's a problem with her boobs, right? Being out. But at 18, she faced none of those consequences. Like nothing, it all disappears, right? And everyone apparently magically knows that she's 18, right? So like I don't, and then she can resist. So like grooming comments, right? That she can resist those same temptations. Yes, people actually are groomed, like way into their older life, right? For abuse.
Sure.
This is a thing that happens, right? But men and women can be
Sure.
groomed for abuse. Physical, emotional, sexual abuse, right? Way into the fucking 40s. Look at that fucking, that Canadian cult that got shut down, the Nexium cult, right? Like, there were 30-year-old women, rich 30-year-old women who had access to resources and power, and they still got groomed for abuse. So I don't know why you're making this special exception.
Right.
I'm just trying to have a solid
special
rule here.
exception.
Sorry, go ahead.
It is a solid thing. And yes, you're right. Like 18 is a number that a lot of people just came up with, and that's kind of how it is. But the thing is, you can't drink it until you're 21, so there's still some number there that people are still saying, wait, like we shouldn't even join the military until we're 25, because I truly believe we're
I
children
agree.
until like
I agree.
25.
I'm with you.
Yeah, right. So there's a lot of those type of things. Now, my issue with the rhetoric, right, is the rhetoric imposes okay, because first we got to make there's a couple arguments here that are being made, and I have to divide them up a little bit. First, it's a distinction of a minor, right? And the idea of how minors are protected in a specific way from sexual predators and sexual crimes, and also like being manipulated in that way and things like that. That's just how society kind of built itself, even though in some states there's still like marriage laws where like 15-year-olds can get married, which is also I would think you would think would be wrong to marry off a 14, 15-year-old, right? But why would a 15 and 14-year-old get married then? Well, it's because the adults are manipulating them to say that this is what they're supposed to be doing.
That can happen at
just
18 or
pure.
19, though, correct?
Not as easily.
But
you don't have
how?
agency.
How?
What do you mean how?
You have
If you're 14
an 18-year-old
years old,
has complete
a
agency.
14-year-old versus an 18-year-old.
No, yes,
Tell me
yeah,
right
let's
now
no,
that
let's
there's
do
not
no,
a
let's do
huge
this.
difference in
Let's
maturity
do it.
level.
No. Ignore the maturity.
Okay, let's do it.
You shouldn't. Okay, first of all, that maturity. I say the phrase first of all a lot, and then I like never get to the second of all. Anyway, it's something I know about myself.
I do the same thing because I do it more as like a punctuation. It's like first of all.
Yes, exactly.
First of all.
Let me tell you. But okay, no, that maturity, maturity, right? Maturity changes like from person to person, right? You can have a 14-year-old who's much more mature than an 18-year-old. Maturity itself and that nebulous concept is not a protection, and a person can be quote unquote mature in situations, right? Can be grown up but still vulnerable, right? Can still like, it doesn't mean like it's not like all mature women, quote unquote mature women, and I mean mentally, right? Like a mature 19-year-old, 20-year-old has not suffered some sort of abuse, right? Has not been coerced into a situation, right? You don't, that doesn't magically.
Right, but you can't use.
But the pressures.
Not...
Hold on, let me finish. But the pressures, the pressures that you're talking about between like an adult forcing them, right? Like at 18, many people are not fully independent from their parents, right? Now the law says they can do whatever they want, right? But
Not
you're
a,
still financially, for many people, are financially dependent. They are emotionally dependent because they're not yet ready for whatever the world has to show them, right? They're still dependent in terms of like their physical safety, right? Like a lot of these things still happen, right? Which and you know this, right? Because our LGBT brothers and sisters who get tossed out when they're at all kinds of ages, right? But when they're tossed out when they're 18 or 19 or 20, it doesn't mean that they're hurting less, right? That emotional devastation isn't less than when they're 16
right,
or
but I
17,
feel like you're
right?
conflating a lot of things,
Okay,
though.
go ahead.
You're conflating a lot of things. Like
Sure.
if a 45-year-old guy was parked in front of a high school waiting at high school graduation, picking up 18 to 19-year-olds, I would consider that just as problematic as
I
a
agree.
25-year-old guy going after a
Mhm.
16, 17, 15-year-old, whatever,
Okay.
right? So for me, it's like those levels of like you're still talking about children. The arbitrary number, right? Like if you're like 20, I know you're saying, okay, there's examples. Sure, you could find examples of abuse happening to elderly. Like the elderly can be abused in a lot of ways by my manipulation and things like that. That happens a lot too. But the thing is, like, there are stages in people's lives where they will be more like susceptible
Mm-hmm.
to abuse
Mm-hmm.
than other stages of human
Mm-hmm.
life. And
Mm-hmm.
you can't compare those lines because you can use statistical quantitative evidence to prove that a child
Mm-hmm.
is much more vulnerable to abuse and danger than an adult human
Hold on,
is.
hold on. No, you can. You, no, no, no,
Yeah,
no, 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 no,
quantitative
no, no,
data
no, no,
shows
no, no,
that.
no, 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 no. Sorry, hold on. Two things. One, that I take back what I said about the 45 and the 18-year-old, right? That's a different subject, and you have to get more into that as to what my exact thoughts are on that. But I'm putting that on hold. I'm not saying what my thoughts are. I'm just putting
Yeah,
that on hold.
yeah.
But hold on. Getting back to your data, right? You said the thing, and Maddie, don't worry. Oh, Jen, just Josie, so anyway, yes, there is data. There is data that can show that, right? But it's measuring things on one axis, right? Being age, right? You can say that like a pregnant woman, right, is more vulnerable, right? A single mother is more
So what?
vulnerable, right? If you compare her to like another woman, right? So correct me if I'm wrong. A single mother without resources, right? And without family, right? Without family support structure, but still has a child that she needs to take care of. Is she more or less vulnerable than a woman who is married with a loving family, right? A support system, resources of her own, right? A job of her own. Are those two people equal in their vulnerability?
You proved my point just now.
I would
Thank you for
ask,
that.
Oh,
vulnerable
I'm proving my
what, to
point.
infection?
Unless
To
your point is my
No,
point,
Maddie.
then
No, Prime. You just proved my point. This is the issue. When you bring it down to the granular level of why a single mother is more vulnerable in society versus another adult woman shows exactly what I'm talking about of just calling all women vulnerable. Because in that situation, you just pointed out one vulnerable woman and one non-vulnerable woman.
she's not. No, the other one
So
is not non-vulnerable. Women with all those resources have still been victimized. You already know this.
I mean, sure, but that doesn't make it guaranteed. That's what I'm
Exactly.
trying
Yes,
to
it's
say.
percentages we're talking about. I'm saying more or less. I'm
The
not saying
vulnerability
absolute. I'm not saying absolutes here. It's a spectrum.
yeah.
A spectrum of vulnerability.
So what? Are men not vulnerable at all? Then?
Yes, they are. Of course they are. Men get victimized all the time. You've just saw a year, right, talking about how black men get victimized by the state, right?
So
of course
people
we're
are just vulnerable.
People
People are just
people are
You
vulnerable.
say
Yes,
black men are vulnerable?
Yes, exactly. I have a heart.
Oh.
I wear on my sleeve. No, look, yeah.
So you see the points though that I'm trying
No,
to make.
I don't
though?
at this
You
point
see?
anymore.
Because Prime, the issue is what you're saying is people are vulnerable to a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And to say like, women are vulnerable is mainly just a thing that you're just saying, rather than saying all people are vulnerable.
But no,
You
hold
see
on,
what
hold
I'm
on.
doing?
Then we can get rid of genders altogether, right? Because there's nothing that I'm saying about women in their particular vulnerability, right? Women vulnerability is equal to men's vulnerability in society. It's the exact same thing, right? And so we don't
Yeah.
need to have we don't need to have like support groups just for women.
I'm gonna push back on the men victimization is equal.
I'm saying that they're not. I'm being sarcastic. Do you not hear me? Is a sarcasm in my voice?
Sorry, I missed.
Yeah.
Can I make
Go ahead.
a clear? Okay. I was gonna say that like legally, when we're talking about like protecting the child, like we've been focusing a lot on how these laws about interacting with people less under 18, that sort of thing, how it protects the child. It also serves to protect the adult, because let's say like a child went into like a teacher, like they had their office hours, whatever, and like the child went in without their top on, whatever, and like then like threw themselves at the teacher, or something happened. Like the laws governing how like they can interact, it protects the adult too from like accusations of child like being a predator. Like it's there not only to protect child, but also to like ensure that we're protecting adults from that as well.
Yeah, and also you got to look at like the victimization and vulnerability of women have been used to weaponize women to keep them from doing anything. Remember how I said that before? Like they couldn't drive, they couldn't have a job, they couldn't do anything and like go to the store because we're so delicate and fragile. And if we walk outside, the wind will blow and we get raped.
I agree. If all those things are bad, great, but you're moving away from the point, and I won't let you escape. Never, right?
Like you escaped the major point of what I'm talking about philosophically.
No, look. You made a bad point dealing with children, right? Saying that all of a sudden at 18 there was some hardline difference in
you need to codify
in the vulnerability.
And cognitively, there's a massive difference in terms of cognitive function between 14 and 18.
No.
The idea of maturity is this sort of nebulous
okay,
definition.
fine. Yes, I agree. I said that a half hour ago. I said that. Great. So anyway, so as a saying that at 17 there is some great difference in vulnerability to an 18-year-old is ridiculous, right? We can agree with that, right?
Wait, say that line
that
one more time.
17, that the difference between 17 and 18, right? Saying that there's a huge difference in vulnerability would be a ridiculous statement, right? Like I mean that they obviously aren't.
I don't have any data to quantitatively say that.
Okay.
But I'm sure that there is,
So
because
some
people at 17 are usually in school and they can't drive, so therefore they're more stranded. So yeah,
women,
18-year-olds are more mobile.
College 18-year-olds are away from their family, right? Many of them are away from their family, are away from their support system, right? Are away from all the things that usually have kept them grounded, right? And then, unfortunately, because I went to college too, and I heard those stories, a lot of them are victimized at that point in time, right? And people are ripe for that situation. Where otherwise they might have been a bit more protected if they had been at home.
Yes, Nick.
Right? Right? Please tell me we can agree on this.
I think
Taryn?
I'm going to agree.
Yes.
Questionably.
Okay.
Questionably.
Great.
But the thing is, like, Prime, I don't understand why this splitting of this hair needs to happen. Because we can make the argument. You can make the argument that we picked an arbitrary number, but that doesn't necessarily mean, like, what about the barely legal fetish?
No, I'm sorry. Stop trying to drag other things into this. No, I'm not letting you escape from this. I won't let you. I'm taking lesson from my man Pisco, who is not a lawyer but will be soon, right? Took the bar exam, just waiting on his results. He's gonna be a lawyer, right? But if he was here, he wouldn't let you walk away from this. He would never let you walk away from this, and so I won't let you do it either, right? So,
Okay,
we can
what
keep
am I
the
walking
barely
away with?
from your hypothetical naked ass kid. That's what you're
Lawyer.
walking away from. You're being you're being a negligent parent right now. Okay, so let's get you back. So,
I'm not letting my kid go naked out the door.
oh, great, but
lawyer in
hold on,
resent.
unless she's 18. And then all of a
Right, because
sudden,
then she has-
now you can say that's her choice at 18, right? And great. But is she
I mean,
more,
she probably
but
has
is
to
she
go to high school.
more, is she not just as vulnerable? If, okay, what about this? Hold on,
And
what about
I-
this? What about 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 this? Your child turns 18 in high school, right?
Okay.
Now in high school, can she go topless? Because the day before,
No.
of course not. But it's her choice now, right? And it's the
No,
same.
because at school-
It's the same adult coaches, right? And whatever, right? That creepy coach you're apparently worried about. But now it's totally cool if you're a little girl, your 18-year-old little girl, is around.
In this hypothetical, naked 18-year-olds in high school would have to be already established as allowed. And then yes.
Oh,
Like,
Oh,
they're to
okay,
get, like,
okay.
suspended.
so so you're saying it's a matter of the regulation.
Because if she's
But
my
you don't
daughter,
care.
then I'm assuming she's a brilliant genius who's got a scholarship to Harvard. So, like, that I have a lot of other things
I'm
I have
sorry.
to consider.
I'm sorry. This was ridiculous. This was ridiculous. I'm sorry. You know it too. This was ridiculous.
Well, you compared young men to a storm.
Oh, the storm is coming. Yeah. By that I
Like if
mean
you're walking in a storm,
my
and that's
Yeah.
different.
my splooge.
I was like,
but
board up
anyway.
the windows.
But
Coming. Boys,
Get out your wellies.
Yeah.
Like,
this was ridiculous, though. This was
Put out the
ridiculous. I'm
sandbags.
sorry.
Put out the
Maybe I made
sandbag.
a bad argument or a bad metaphor there, but this was ridiculous to say that there was
what if I'm
some
like, what if I'm a
difference.
hippie Californian that's just like, yes, like daughter to go naked.
Look.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do is come up with a unified, a unified theory of a modus operandi, right, for everyone. I'm using the wrong words. Shut up. But look,
that works.
But anyway, I'm looking for a unified pattern of behavior that we should all engage in, right? What I'm doing is not making some special exception for children, right? I'm saying that children are vulnerable, right, in different ways and for different reasons from other people, right, from women or from men, but they have some sort of vulnerabilities, right? So, one way to protect them from that, one way to do that is to cover them up. This is not a blaming a child for any abuse that may come their way, right? Like they weren't fully clothed and some adult took advantage of them. Certainly not. But I'm saying that we understand the way the world is. So, taking that, and since you understand that, Josie, right? You understand this. That's why you said your daughter has to cover up because of those coaches, those adults there, right? Taking that and then bringing a few years into the future and understand those people also have their vulnerabilities, right? That you're vulnerable at work, right? You could be making good money at work. You could be working for a governor, maybe, I don't know, pulling it out of my ass. And you can still be vulnerable to abuse. That still happens. You can be groomed. And you're smart, you're intelligent, you got a PhD,
I don't.
but you have different accesses of vulnerability, right? And yes, sexual vulnerability is a vulnerability. That's all I'm saying.
You mean like sexual vulnerability? Do you mean like just the chances of you being raped?
I don't really want to say anything anymore. I'm just saying. I don't want to.
When you you
I
gonna
don't
say
know
a
what I'm
word like
saying.
sexual
Yeah, like I
vulnerability?
realize that my argument is like mostly semantic because I take issue with like the labeling as just like blanket, like they are more vulnerable. My follow up is to what?
Mm.
To what? Like vulnerable to what? Like is it vulnerable
What
to
are
rejection?
what are kids
Vulnerable to
What are
whatever?
kids
But that's
vulnerable
what I
to?
mean is that like kids are vulnerable to chickenpox.
Hmm.
Kids are
Okay,
vulnerable
so
to
adults.
warts and like different like what's it called?
Adults are more vulnerable.
Fungal infections
Adults are
because
more
their
vulnerable to
immune systems
chickenpox.
haven't whatever like developed yet.
Ad-
They are vulnerable to acne because their like hormones are going nuts and
Adults
they're
are
like
more
whatever.
vulnerable to chickenpox. Right? So if you didn't get it as a kid
Now
and you
we're
get it as
Oh
an
yeah,
adult,
because
you get shingles.
now they have a vaccine. I forgot.
Yeah.
yeah.
I had it
I know I had
before
chicken pox
they
when I
had
was
the
younger.
vaccine.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Thank God there's a vaccine for that. But yeah, I don't know. So I acknowledge that like I wasn't going to contribute much because I have a semantic issue with
But
like phrasing it
but
as
hold
women
on.
are more vulnerable.
Fine. Use whatever words you want. I don't care. Right? Translate it
Because that
into
elicits a certain
translate it into Maddie
image that
speak.
I
Right?
don't
Translate
agree
it into
with.
Maddie speak, whatever you want. Right? But if you're saying that like vulnerable to what are kids vulnerable to?
Dangerous things.
Dangerous things. What are those dangerous situations?
Being groomed,
Mhm.
being kidnapped,
Mhm.
And I
being
don't.
like
Uh-huh.
all those things. They could
That
get
But I
more
think
and
like
none of
the
that
more we
specific.
talk
happens
about
to
a
Drug use and
adults.
preventative
abuse and
measure, because
addiction.
like
And none of that
people
happens
are
to
groomed
adults.
regardless of what they wear.
But that's a different. It's a different
So
magnitude.
then there's
Prime.
no so
Like
so then her
but
child
you
could be
can't
naked.
sit here. You can't sit here and make a magnitude argument. Like the argument here, it's about
I'm
weighing
not.
the
You
impacts and
are.
magnitude. No, like the impacts are much different. Like if a child goes
You're
and
making the magnitude
binge
argument.
drinks, no. If a child goes and does binge drinking, that is not equivalent to a 25-year-old person going and binge drinking.
Why?
There's a different because their brains aren't fully developed and they can actually seriously physically damage themselves.
So you adults
No,
fuck
that is
themselves.
a
Yes,
physical
they
thing.
do. They
Like,
fuck themselves up when
But
drinking.
their
Hold on.
frontal
You don't think
cortex
a
isn't fully developed.
you don't think
But
a
Prime, that's much
hardcore drunk
different.
is doing zero damage to themselves, right? They're
Yeah, in
doing
about
zero
60
damage.
They're able
years,
to
they'll
make
get
There
that
is
the
no
right.
decision with
cirrhosis.
full
There's no
decision-making
cirrhosis.
capability.
There's no cirrhosis.
Yeah,
Like that doesn't happen, right?
Cirrhosis of the liver, it happens like 40 years after the
But
heavy
is
drinking and
that
abuse.
is that a
25-year-old has a
vulnerability?
fully
Are you
formed frontal
vulnerable
cortex.
to that? Are you vulnerable to that? Specific? Because like what is it? So let's say the brain.
Not
so
the
let's
same
say.
way
So let's
that a kid
pretend.
is.
Exactly what I've been saying this entire time. So yes, let's
You
pretend the
could
brain
talk
of
about it
adult
from a
is
neurological
completely 100% protected from drinking, right? That it has no effect whatsoever. Okay, let's pretend that, right? But only for a child. Okay, sure, great, right? And then you're saying, well, it's the cirrhosis of the liver. First of all, a child can be vulnerable to that too. And second of all, I went to
but they
second
don't have
of all.
fully formed frontal cortex, so their decision-making process is a lot
But
different.
it doesn't. But hold on. But that's my
Their capability
point,
to make a
Maddie.
decision.
Maddie, that's the point that I've been making this entire fucking time. Is that we have different axes of vulnerabilities, right? Right? I said that. So if you could acknowledge that there are two apparently entirely separate vulnerabilities that don't cross over for some reason, whatever, right? But two entirely separate vulnerabilities, that means that there's vulnerabilities, that they're vulnerable to damage by the same stimuli.
But you're making a fallacy. You're saying like one form of vulnerability is equal across the entire board.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not.
So why do you keep bringing in the example of adults' vulnerability versus children vulnerability then?
Because that's the argument we're talking about. Because you made the distinction. Yes, you made the distinction between your 18. I never let that go. You may have forgotten it, but I won't. Between your underage child wearing a top, not wearing a top, and then your 18 plus, right? Your barely legal child wearing a top. You said as soon as that happens, she's free to be her, right? And she is free to be her in terms of like her choices, but not her vulnerability. That's what I'm saying. I'm keeping it consistent. You are not, and you've said it yourself that you're making a special exemption. So I'm saying I'm tearing it down.
You can't tear it down like that. Like it's not,
Oh
it's
my
not
God,
the same thing.
I know we're not going to agree here. We're not.
We're
I
not
don't
gonna.
know that we're going to
oh, we're
come
not.
to.
Apparently not. No.
I don't know that we're.
No, we're not. No, I know we're not because you're not even listening anymore. Because you keep forgetting your own arguments. You're forgetting where we are in this
No,
conversation.
I don't think it's.
No,
I don't think that's
no,
why.
I don't think
I
that's
don't
why.
think that's
no.
why.
Hold
Prime,
on.
it's okay.
You keep
It's
forgetting what
okay.
we're talking about. All right.
No, because you brought it in so many different circles.
You
that
did.
You like.
You brought up
Remember
the
when I
you
said?
brought up the
Remember,
porn.
remember when I said? Remember when I said? Like you're having a lot of points at once, and we need to unpack all of this. Like I just started like with one of the
You
pieces, but then you completely
no
logically went into your next point without
no
us actually
no
interacting.
Also,
no.
we've just been talking
Disagree.
about how this is going to affect women.
No, sorry, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's fine. Don't care. But we're talking about how women specifically are vulnerable. That's okay with me. That's all right. So sorry. Ah.
My daughter is going to be dangerous.
I think so. Why did this happen?
Oh my god!
I don't.
Especially if she gets my fiance's hair, because he has beautiful, like, thick hair that has the perfect curls. And I'm just like, oh, if she could get that, she will be unstoppable. No one.
Curls make you unstoppable.
Oh, they do. I know. That's
They do.
my listen. That's my kryptonite.
Show me.
Why I'm not president right now.
Let's see your fiance one day. Get on camera one day.
I would love to get him. He doesn't understand. Like, he just like doesn't understand streaming, and is just
Does
like,
he understand
I don't
how
like
cameras
get it.
work? Just like be
No,
in front
he
of
like he works for a big tech company. He's just like, why, like, what, like, why stream? And I'm like, because it's great, and you get to connect with people and talk about things you care about. And he's like,
Do you have a
could, like,
picture
do
of
that
him
in
on your
real
Twitter or
life?
something?
And I'm like, yeah, I post pictures of him all the time. Here,
Okay.
I'll find a picture and I'll share it with you.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to see.
You could see
your-
what he looks
your
like,
handsome
because he's
husband.
pretty cute.
I bet.
He's pretty cute.
All right, Maddie pulls like the 10 out of 10s, I'm sure. But
He's a 10 in my book. I don't know.
Just so
Oh.
Nina Turner. I just I'm looking at
Oh,
that
no.
race.
Oh yeah,
No.
how's that race doing?
So 84% of the precincts reporting Shanti Brown has 50.5% and Nina Turner has 44.2. It's not looking good. It's going to be a very long night. Very long night for Nina tonight.
Okay, so she has to
Much
make up those
bullshit.
6 points.
With 82% left, it's very unlikely.
Yeah, does
We'll
hold
see.
on.
Fuck Clyburn,
But
yeah.
and you can tell me because you know this better than I do. It's 15% left. Yeah, with 15% left. So
It depends on where those precincts are.
yeah, but also, like, does this percentage? Do you know if this percentage includes mail-in ballots, right? Like for whatever this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
okay.
I think it does. Well, so the mail-in ballots, I think a lot of them have been counted. I think there was like 46,000, I think, mail-in ballots. I don't know. I need to do more research on that, but like, I don't know how Ohio does, because the issue is this: it's a special election and it's a really small race, so it's easier for them to count the ballots faster than it would be for like a national or statewide election.
Okay.
So they'll count it pretty quick.
Okay. But my point is specifically for this percentage left, right? And maybe I'm grasping at straws. And like when you're doing what I'm about to do here at the end of the night, then it's not good, right? When you're like, but have you thought of this, right? But yeah, so what I'm looking at, I'm just like looking at the Washington Post, and they say 85.9% of the districts reporting, right? So that's 14.1% left, right? And so what I'm asking is, do mail-in ballots count as like one precinct, or are they scattered across all the precincts? Like, how do they count that compared to this, right? So I'm wondering, so what I'm asking for is that, is there a possibility for a late surge through those mail-in ballots? Let's say they barely counted them, but it still says 85.9% because it's 85.9% of the physical district. I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know, because there's only 2 counties, and it looks like they're counting by county, not precinct. So it's really hard to tell. And if you like on my screen, it's just basically Cleveland and Akron, or Summit County. So the fact that the large city is 84% reported and the small county is already 100%. it would be hard. Like Nina Turner would have to really get a lot of votes. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be it's a pretty it's I've seen these things go a lot of different ways, and I'm just gonna say that she's gonna have a long night.
Mm,
I don't know. I don't know how Ohio does their vote count, so I
no.
could be wrong
Yeah,
in some way.
Yeah.
I don't know either. Maybe Amanda knows. I don't know. But I'm not sure if she heard our question. But yeah, it's not great. It's one or the other. It's not good.
Well, I hate being right, because if Lena Turner loses, then that's the final evidentiary piece. I can officially say the progressive movement is dead, and we need to go a different direction and figure out what we need to do next.
I disagree.
Progressives can't even win one special election when every national progressive in the country was fighting for her. Like it's just they don't understand
hold
political
on.
strategy to
I
win.
think also, but I would say that Nina Turner is a unique example because of that, because she was such a vocal proponent for someone like Bernie Sanders, who among like the very like establishment mainstream like Democrats, that is something I think they would put like they push back disproportionately hard against someone aligned with that versus maybe like someone who wasn't as like I don't know, like Nina was just such a massive presence in like his race, like for Bernie Sanders in both 2020 and 2016. So I think maybe because she was seen like potentially seen but from that like more centrist contingent as like a divisive figure or like just more vocal, I don't know that they would have got like moderates wouldn't have pushed back so hard in like a special election like this for someone who didn't have that background, if that makes sense. Like you wouldn't see Hillary Clinton going in and like making an endorsement or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know if I agree, but I agree that it's a mass. If Nina Turner can't win there, it's going to signal a massive setback.
Yeah.
And I do think I agree with you where you say like we have to rethink our strategy 100%. This absolutely would signal like.
But she's saying more than that.
I don't know.
But Josie, you please correct me if I'm wrong, because we've had a discussion on this before. It sounds like you're saying more than simply rethink our strategy, right? You're saying progressive movement in general, right? So you're talking about policies? Are you talking about well, I guess policies.
Political strategy and realigning our not necessarily our policies. Yes, we need to focus on more equality policies as progressives, because like progressives have been woefully unequipped to deal with like LGBTQ issues as well as racial issues. You could see that with the failure of what they've been trying to do with other things. So that's unfortunate. So that's the big policy change that they need. The second thing is that we need to reestablish who the leaders of this movement are. If you want to actually have a movement, we need to have a reset of what our political strategies are. Obviously, progressive rage isn't enough to win an election. We need to have the ability to create progressive, almost, I'm going to be really, really corny, but like progressive love politics rather than progressive hatred politics. Because honestly, it doesn't bring home the votes. And what we need to do is we need to focus on building relationships with people.
Could you explain?
Right?
Could you explain this? Because I don't know exactly what you're railing against here. So you're saying you're making a distinction between progressive love, progressive hate. I don't haven't seen Nina Turner run a hateful candidacy, but maybe you can explain what you mean.
No, not her.
Okay.
Not her. She's amazing. I love Nina Turner. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
Like, please don't take any of my language as me saying anti-Nina Turner. I've met her a couple times. She's great. I love her. Incredible speaker. So please don't think that I am not anti-Nina Turner, because I'm not. I want her to win very, very badly. Now, what I'm saying is the people on the ground who have been developing and pushing a lot of the strategies. Now, I'm going to go ahead and call out some names. You have the Jimmy Dores, you have the Kyle Kalinskis, you have like a lot of people who have been now railing against like the progressive establishment, like AOC and like the Squad, and saying that they're traitors and they haven't fought hard enough for us. And that doesn't help, because what is AOC doing? Which is building relationships so she can have more congressional power to actually have effectiveness as a legislator. But the progressives get mad when she builds those relationships rather than lauding her and saying, hey, good job convincing that person to be on our side for this one time. Now, what I mean by progressive love is rather than saying, oh my God, this person beat our candidate, let's tear them to the ground during their whole tenure as an elected official, they're not
Never mind.
legislating
Sorry,
at
just
that point.
pause for a second.
Okay.
Round 1, she conceded.
Yeah, see?
But
I
would
know
say,
local numbers.
I would say Jimmy. I would say God, that really sucks.
I know it sucks.
But I would say Jimmy Dore
like I said at the beginning,
is not a progressive. I wouldn't say that he's a progressive at all. Or anything. I think he's a groiper.
Bag left.
Yeah,
Whatever.
he's not. No, he's not.
But
okay, sorry.
So I'm coining a new.
I don't think he's not dirtbag
and
left.
I'm gonna start saying this more often. It's alt left. The people who are creating disgusting relationship burning politics, which is like, I'm gonna burn as many bridges as possible and I'm gonna win this in a winner take all system, they're alt left, and they should be held to the same ire that we hold alt right. Because
that's too much. That sorry, no.
I do.
No. See, this is the problem with using language like that, right?
Jimmy Dore is alt left.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's, well, I mean, you can call them that, right? But then to equate these things as if they're equal, they are not. Jimmy Dore is a terrible fucking human being.
Philosophically, they're
right?
equal.
Philosophically,
they're equal.
No, hold on, no. I'm sorry. The alt-right wants to exterminate. Literally exterminate our Jewish brothers and sisters, right? These things are not equivalent. They're not philosophically equivalent, not anything like that.
I've talked to tankies, alt-left tankies that want to eliminate and kill people like Jeff Bezos.
Like they talk about
all wealth class.
Mm-hmm.
I've literally seen alt-lefties literally talk about like drawing quartering like actual officials and things. So what I'm saying, philosophically, there's the same coin.
No, I'm sorry. I look at racialized violence, right? Different than an ethnic violence, different than violence against the elite, right? Especially the elite who've abused the poor, right? Who've caused massive pain and suffering to other individuals. So I don't think those things are equal.
So let me explain what the equivalency I'm talking about here is. Okay, I'm not talking about like as far as like when you're talking about the magnitudes again. Like yes, alt-right people are fascists, authoritarians, and they want to like do very bad harm to like segments of race and society. Yes, that is true. However, I will say this, that alt-left people use a lot of the same tactics to get their points across, which is fear. They use fear to say if you don't listen to me, then this is what's going to happen. They use anger and rage to fire up people to make them more flame, and that's what alt-right people do.
No.
Fear.
My point is that at what point on the political spectrum is that not used for a political tactic? Everything you're saying is used all across the political spectrum.
But the difference is that they, like the alt-right, label anyone that disagrees with any part of what they say as the enemy. And like that your rage should be directed at them. And that's sort of like this dividing line rather than other, like we invoke strong emotions in any like across the political spectrum. However, to go so far as to say that anyone who disagrees with any part of our proposed policies or our policy positions, to then cast them as the enemy that should be eliminated is
Liberals do the same fucking thing. Liberals do the same fucking thing. Absolutely, right? Liberals identify progressives as the enemy, right? As socialists as the enemy, and they paint them as such. And in fact, they fight them harder than they fight conservatives, right? Because there's a lot of overlap, right? And the liberal mindset and the conservative mindset. And they look at us as enemies, right? And yes, they'll do anything to sabotage us, right? All those things are true on the liberal side. And yes, they use fear, to marginalize us, right?
You're literally using fear now.
How am I using? I'm literally describing the liberals. How's that? That's using fear?
Because you're using demonization tactics.
You're
literally saying,
demonizing the alt left. Then I guess you're demonizing the alt left. Like that's not okay. So then your words literally mean nothing. Then what you're describing it literally means absolutely nothing because everyone describing things. Once you're describing things, apparently that's automatically using fear. Like what?
No, because the thing about it is it's not necessarily fear that I'm trying to say that the alt left is like. I'm saying that the alt left is destroying our ability to actually win in electoral politics.
No.
Actually happening.
No. Yeah, and the example you used was that they are stoking fear, right? That's what you said.
They are.
Yes, great.
You said exactly.
And I'm saying that all points of the spectrum,
the liberals are
the same
after
thing.
us.
They say the same thing.
Everything about it.
Liberals do the same thing. They talk about the way they talk about progressives. Those liberals, those are politicians, right?
When's the last time that like I know there was like things being said about defund the police. I think defund the police was the last time that the establishment left said, "Oh, this is what cost us elections."
I'm sorry. When's the last time liberals? The left cost elections?
Liberals. The last time liberals made any claim against progressives.
I'm waiting. Oh yeah, I can do this.
The last time.
Yep.
The last time that they said this was because of defund the police language and rhetoric was too much, and they made them lose middle centrist districts, which I can disagree with that point, but that's not the same.
I didn't say that was.
But I'm just saying
you brought that example, and then you're saying that's my example, but it's not my example.
No, I'm not saying that's your example. What I'm saying is the tactics that are used and said about the left that the alt left says is very fear-mongery.
And yeah, it's great. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you.
My argument is that fear-mongering language is the same tactic that the alt-right uses.
Yes, and I'm saying that that's a pointless distinction because all points in the political spectrum do the same thing. So if you're using that as the reason why these two things are equivalent, then I'm saying that's politics.
If you want to make the claim that my argument's non-unique, you need to link that. So I can understand that you're trying to say that my argument's non-unique because everybody uses this tactic, but I really want to know why or what's the example that is equivalent to what Jimmy Dore has been saying about AOC that the left is the libertarians have been saying for progressives.
Also, I just on a better note, I sent in the Amazon Lily chat pictures of my beautiful future husband.
He's a really handsome guy.
He's a handsome guy.
And that is someone else's baby.
That is my nephew. Okay. That is not my baby. That's my nephew.
But is the dog that's cut out in one picture, is that your baby?
That's Ruby, and if you follow me on Instagram, you can see like the original photo. Ruby is making like, oh my god, this like we had everyone looks so happy. We did a big like family photo, and Ruby looks so suspicious of everything, and she's there just like, and I'm just like, can you look happy and like not terrified for 1 second, dog? When we're having this like nice family photo, turns out nope, can't do it. But yeah, that's Alex.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's 2 years younger than me, so.
Okay.
Okay. So I want to make one more thing clear because even people in my chat are disagreeing with me on one point, and I want to make a clarification with this.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm not just saying that the alt left are like going after rich people and that because classism is very different from racism in those degrees. So I want to make something very clear. Mm-hmm. The issue is using fear tactics to a point where they make you feel like they're the only ones that can solve the problem, which is a very authoritarian type of tactic. And that is what the problem has been with the progressive movement. Is the fact is they have been trying to focus so much on the issues outside of race and LGBTQ issues that they've been focusing so much on class warfare that they've completely forgotten about the struggles of other people, and they use fear mongering and and making progressives angry to raise money for themselves and push terrible strategies that make more progressives burn out and make us less
So
effective.
I'm not, so the alt left as you're defining it, I'm not saying, well, I'm not sure if I would put Kalinske there, but Jimmy Dore certainly, there's room for disagreement there, and maybe I can be convinced, but I would say that, again, I mean, like, I'm not disagreeing with you. You keep saying those same words, but I'm not disagreeing with that, right? You keep saying that,
Okay.
but it's true. Okay, great, 100%. But all parts of the political spectrum do that too, right? So not just the alt-right talks about, right, like how socialism is going to take over, right? Like at any point in time, it's going to be it's going to take over, and it's going to damage. I don't know. It's going to tear down America, right? Like conservatives, ordinary conservatives, not alt-right conservatives, right? And liberals have all used that same language, talking about. Sorry, there's noise outside. Talking about the left and their tactics and and their progressive, their policy outcomes that they want, right? Talking about like using fear, right, and the way that like, oh, you're going to not be able to see the doctor that you want, right? Like progressives are trying to take it away and use some sort of socialist board, right, to decide
Like
who
what,
lives and
though?
dies,
Like,
right? But like they,
but the left didn't do that. The lefties did that.
lefties did that.
Well, you are pointing out conservative tactics because things are more
Yeah.
like hyperbolic.
Sure.
But like the left, like the things that they say is like Bernie's not a Democrat or Medicare for all is pie in the
You're alt left.
sky.
You're talking about, so
But
you're
they're
confused
not.
me. You're talking about the alt
But
left? The alt left, or
yeah, so I'm just talking about the left in general, like the basic, like, you know, run of the mill Nancy Pelosi.
so liberal.
type
So say
Democrat.
liberal, so it helps me. It helps.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. So like the liberals, like they would be like, oh, like, you know, these are basement dwellers, or they will say, oh, this is a pie in the sky policy, or they don't understand policy and politics, but they're not going around like progressives are going to ruin this country, and if you vote for a progressive, then the whole democracy is going to fall apart completely. That's a very different argument than saying their policy sucks.
Sorry, I'm getting highly distracted by someone. But
Yeah, no, it's okay.
I apologize. So you're saying, like, what is the distinction you're drawing between how liberals operate and go ahead.
My distinction is that liberals, yes, they criticize the ultra left often. They're
All the
usually
time.
criticizing them on their policy choices and their feasibility of how they do things strategically. They're not going around saying that if progressives win these elections, the whole world is going to end. The
Yeah,
you know,
they
if a
do.
progressive win,
Yeah, they do.
Name one lefty that, like, establishment person that said those exact things. That if leftists win,
No,
then we're
if
gonna
you're
have
asking
a
me to say those
failure of
exact
democracy.
words, no. I'm saying that.
That's the point. The
No. The exact words, right? The exact words used by the left is different from the exact words used by the alt-right. So then your analogy fails that way in which way? But you're saying they use the same No, they don't use the same language. They don't use the exact same language, right? I'm saying your point, but the tactics. There we go. The tactics, great. The tactics.
But that's what I mean.
And that's what I'm talking about. The tactics of the liberals and the conservatives.
You haven't given me one example
yet. When has politics not used fear mongering? When have they not? When the liberals, right, talked during the Red Scare. Did the liberals, were they some bastion of hope during the Red Scare, right? Saying, well, I don't know, maybe we've gone a little too far with this, right? Did they protect the communists? Did the liberals protect the communists?
That's completely different. That's a different era of politics. We're not talking about that.
But the point
We're
is,
talking about there wasn't an alt-right then either.
No, yes, there was. Hold on. No. The alt-right, all the alt-right is a rebrand of white nationalists, and they've always been around, right?
Sure.
That's all that is.
Okay.
Great. So they've always been there. Great. So we've established that. Moving on.
So the Red Scare people are white nationalists. Got it. Yes.
What?
You should let Samantha
That's
Banana
bad faith.
on.
No, hold on. That's bad faith. What?
That's not bad faith.
Hold on. The Red Scare people are white. No, I didn't say that. Don't put that in my.
Oh, okay. So what? Martin Luther King wasn't monitored for communism?
What? I'm sorry. You're all over the map. I have no idea what you're saying to me anymore. Like,
what you're because you went
You should
into
listen
the
to the banana.
no,
1960s
listen
Red Scare.
to me. I'm saying the liberals. I didn't bring up the alt-right, right, during that time period. I'm saying the liberals during that time did not save the communists, right, the left during that time, right? They didn't save leftists during that time because they were fine using the exact same language of fear. That was use liberals use the same language of fear. Hold on. Liberals use the same language of fear during the 90s, during the crack epidemic,
Super
right?
predators.
Yes, they use all they use tactics of fear, right? Go down the line in every era. Liberals are using fear. So my point is, if you're making some distinction between the alt-left, what you're defining as the alt-left, and the alt-right, and saying that these two are equivalent, and I'm drawing that on the axes of they're not on the fear tactic. I'm saying all sides of the political spectrum use that, so it's not a useful criteria for judging that.
But the thing is, like, when you're using the Red Scare, you're using a temporal fallacy, right? It's like I could literally go and say the Democrats used to be the Republicans, and those are the people that we like. You realize that's the same tactic,
no,
right?
that's not the same tactic. That's not the same. Hold on, I gave you another. Hold on. Sorry. Was
so okay?
Well, then what about
so
the 90s? Okay, sorry. What? Just an example. The drug war, right? The drug war. How have liberals not used fear the entire time? Hold on, but liberals went. Bill fucking Clinton and Obama and all of them use the tactics of fear when it comes to the drug war. All of them. Okay, well then great. Well then I've won.
No, because it's not the same thing that it is right now in this political snapshot that I'm talking about. Because right now
you're drawing
we have
a special exception, I know.
No, I'm not, because there wasn't a left and a lefter back then.
Yes, there was. It was marginalized.
The Green Party, what was there?
It was marginalized, but that doesn't mean they weren't there. People fought against on the left, right? From the left flank, from the Democrats, they fought against the wars that the liberals were so fine, and signing up Hillary Clinton was so fine and getting us involved in, right? The leftists fought, they protested against it. They may not have been in power, sure, great. That doesn't mean that they didn't exist. These ideas weren't out there, right? So.
But again, Prime, what I'm arguing, though, is the fact that these tactics use fear-mongering. Serene, you want to say something? It looks like you wanted to say something.
Oh, no, sorry.
Okay, no, I was making sure because I feel like I've been dominating a lot of space. So I'm talking about the philosophical ways that we win battles for the greater good of the nation. And I am telling you right now that there are people on the ultra left that have been using tactics to destroy prominent good politicians because they're upset that their person didn't win. And the right, the ultra right too, also deploy those same tactics when they don't win either.
Yeah.
In their own party.
Great.
I'm talking about the delineation.
Yeah, you've said the same thing.
So Prime, are you saying that a tanky? You saying like a tanky and all of these people who use fearmonger, and Maddie, you look super cute, by the way.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking about a tanky and a Leninist, talking about all of these tactics of fear and all of this stuff that actually sets our movement back, you're okay with that?
I didn't say I was okay. I didn't say any of that. You're putting words in my mouth. I didn't say any of that.
Okay, I'm asking. So there is a delineation. That's all I'm trying to say. That there is a difference, and I just want you to acknowledge.
I'm not okay with the tactics of liberals either. I complain about them all the time. I'm not the one using a false equivalency here. I'm not the one using a false equivalency, and I'm not the one. Passed. I'm not the one using a false equivalency, and then on the other side using well, I guess they're both false equivalencies, but in different ways. One is that they're not equivalent, and then two, saying that when they are equivalent, saying that they aren't equivalent, like a false inequivalency. That's what you're doing, right? You're saying on one end that the alt-right and alt-left are somehow equivalent, right? And then I disagree with that. In tactics, and I'm pretty sure I disagree with that. Maybe if I thought more on it, I don't know. But for now, I'd say I'm disagreeing with that. But then, on the other side, the tactic you picked is a tactic of fear, and you're saying that there is a difference in kind here. I'm saying that there's not. I'm saying that there is an equivalency here, but that's equivalency across the board, meaning that's that as a criteria it's useless. But look, I don't know if I'm gonna make any farther than this. It's
Sorry,
just,
I'm laughing at Maddie's memeing that she's doing right now. So Prime, not to belabor the point, because
well,
I don't
we've
want
done
to,
that. We've already
right?
done that. That's too far past.
I don't want to, but the thing
Okay.
is that we have to acknowledge that the tactics that we're using right now are shit, and we're losing elections across the country, and we're not going to gain any power if we keep going down this road.
Sure, that might be the
If
case,
Nina-
but the examples you brought up have not been useful in actually elucidating that. That's all I'm saying.
Really?
Yes, really.
I don't know. I think Jimmy Dore
is
a
not
terrible
Nina Turner.
tactic.
Jimmy Dore isn't AOC. Jimmy Dore isn't any
I'm
of the. Jimmy
I'm
Dore
not equivalent.
isn't.
I'm not
But hold on,
saying-
then what's the point? Then why even bringing him in? Then
they're-
why
they're-
bring him in?
because-
Then why bring him in? Because Jimmy
I'm
Dore
trying
isn't
to give
running.
you a distinction
But Jimmy Dore isn't
between
running.
I know, but the thing is, AOC and Nina Turner are not alt left.
Yes.
They're policy
Exactly.
makers.
So then why are you?
And what
But
we
you
needed-
but you equated the alt left
But
to the
what I'm
tactics
saying
of winning a campaign.
Is the reason why they're losing.
But
That's what
how?
I'm saying.
But you're saying if Nina Turner and in the squad, right, are not the same as Jimmy Dore, right? Jimmy Dore is not running. And you've yet to.
But I'm telling you right now,
which of these alt left people?
Jimmy Dore is hurting AOC's popularity. Jimmy Dore is hurting people like Nina.
No,
Nina
Nancy
Turner.
Pelosi
Yeah,
is hurting
they
her
are.
popularity. Nancy Pelosi is
Okay.
hurting her popularity, right? Nancy Pelosi and her what was it? Your green dream or whatever, right? Like what was that term? Like Nancy Pelosi is the one undermining the left.
What
What
about
the
that
fuck?
when she said that too.
Yeah.
I get that that's
Yeah.
happening, but the fact of the matter is, like, it's the people like Jimmy Dore that is going to hurt the base that already supports AOC. Nancy Pelosi is not convincing anybody to go away from AOC.
Yes,
who's already
yes,
with
she is.
AOC.
Yes, she is.
Really?
Because her whole point is she is diametrically opposed. Nancy Pelosi is diametrically opposed to the to the goals of the progressive movement. If you don't agree on that, then of course we can't agree on anything else.
If Nancy Pelosi runs a candidate that beats AOC, I will eat my hat on stream and let you know that you are right.
What difference does that make? Well, why would that prove anything?
It makes a huge
It would prove
difference
nothing.
because you are literally saying that AOC that is just as detrimentally damaged by a Nancy Pelosi than a Jimmy Dore character who has been effectively hurting her position.
So hold
on Medicare for all.
If she loses,
tactics,
if AOC loses to a liberal, you'll blame Jimmy Dore, a liberal that happens to be backed by Nancy Pelosi. You would rather bring Jimmy Dore, a random motherfucker on the internet webs, right? That only a few people, only terminally online motherfuckers like us know about, right? You would blame him for that, rather than Nancy Pelosi, House Speaker, who is throwing her weight behind that candidate. You would say Jimmy Dore clearly was the one who lost this election. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
I am.
Amazing.
Yeah, you know why?
Then we're not gonna agree on anything.
Prime, you can't just shut it down like that.
No, you can say your piece, but like I said, we're just never going to agree.
Let me say your piece. Let me say this piece. Because when people like Jimmy Dore make people angry, they don't volunteer on campaigns. They don't donate small dollar donations. They think it's just another sellout to all these things. Grassroots campaigns exist on the ability for activists to be unified and fight for things on a one level. Every activist that we lose on the ground is a win for the establishment. Nancy Pelosi is not going to demotivate a progressive from walking, but Jimmy Dore can demotivate a progressive from walking if they say that this progressive isn't for Medicare for all.
Okay, all right.
I know because I know ground tactics.
All right, look, look. After I can't even hear what you're saying now. After that last thing, right? After saying that Jimmy Dore would be more responsible for the loss of an AOC than Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker, throwing her weight behind a candidate, right? That's amazing to me. That's amazing to me.
Jimmy
I
Dore was
can't
on
hear
Tucker
anything else.
Carlson.
Oh, amazing.
Jimmy Dore was on Tucker Carlson
Wow.
blasting
Oh,
AOC
wow.
and the squad
Amazing.
about how much they're
He was
traitors
on
and not
Tucker
great
Carlson.
on Medicare
He
for
was-
all.
That's equivalent to the Speaker of the House. Those are the same things. I do get that. I see that now. But you just did. No. You didn't want to say they were equivalent. You say Jimmy Dore is more powerful. That's what you just did.
In a particular way.
Okay.
Let Maddie say something. Because
she's
You're
talking to her
muted.
chat. She's talking to her chat.
no, you're muted, Maddie. Oh, hold
Fucking
on.
A, I did not realize I was muted. Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
oh.
Say I need some support here. Come on, girl.
No, but like
tag
I
team.
kind of agree with Josie. But like, here's the thing,
That's
and like
fine.
look, I'm not
I'm
saying
done.
that I'm not equating.
Sorry.
Nancy
No.
Pelosi.
It's not. Sorry. I just want to hear.
If I
want
could
to
get
hear.
out, if I could
Wait,
get out one sentence.
Is Nancy Pelosi the same as Jimmy Dore? Is he more powerful
I
than
was
Jimmy Dore?
literally answering
Okay,
this
great. Just
question.
please give it to me.
Okay. What I am not saying is that Nancy Pelosi and Jimmy Dore have equal political sway and political power, because of fucking course they don't. However, to deny that Jimmy Dore has any sort of major influence on these elections negates to admit that he has a massive audience. And that a lot of those people were the same ones that showed enthusiasm to volunteer, to get involved. And with him now turning on the squad and basically aligning himself with like fucking Fox News and going on Fox News, that we're not saying that people who voted for Chantel Brown are only doing it because like Jimmy Dore told them to. But what I think Jimmy Dore is doing is he is significantly impacting the enthusiasm that people who align more with the left, with progressive, he is significantly impacting the enthusiasm of both volunteers and voters.
Did I say?
And that has
Did I say?
impact.
Did I say at any point in time, roll the VOD back, find it for me, that Jimmy Dore has no impact at all? Did I say that? Did I say that I denied Jimmy Dore's?
I'm going to be honest, I wasn't paying attention.
Okay,
to it.
great. All right then. All right. Well,
I would just like to say that I'm a corporate
I'm already
liberal
done
still.
with it. I'm already done with it. After that statement, I can't go any farther.
No, Prime. Like the thing
You
is,
can keep saying it,
like,
but
you
I'm
are
just done with it. I'm
completely-
sorry.
I know. Look. I agree with what Maddie just said. And the fact of the matter is, in small local elections like Nina Turner's election and other places where the wins are literally like 4,000 to 5,000 people,
and
Yeah,
not
like-
the millions of
like-
dollars that was poured into that race.
no,
right?
it's not, because 4,000 people could have possibly voted if there was more volunteer base, if they didn't think that every freaking progressive running for office was a effing
That's
shill.
right. That's right. And you know what? I'm going to tell
but it's
Destiny that
true.
I'm going to tell
It is
I'm
true.
going to tell Destiny that it was wrong.
We do
That
organize
money
it
in
for
politics
everyone.
has no effect on anything, right? Instead, it's internet personalities, right, who run the show. They're the ones who tip elections,
I
right? It's
guarantee you
internet
that
fucking
Nina Turner raised
personalities.
just as
They're
much
the ones.
money.
They're the ones who affect
Nina Turner
more.
also raised a lot of money.
They're the ones who
Nina
affect.
Turner raised just
Great,
as much money. She's
great,
one of the national
great.
figures,
You
and
know,
it didn't
hold
make
on.
a difference.
Oh, okay. All right. Wow. All right. I'm done with it. I'm done. We cannot say that.
That's because I
I'm
just
sorry.
proved you're wrong.
No, you didn't.
Literally said
No,
it's
you
money,
said
and I said that
nonsense
Nina
for
Turner
45
probably had
minutes.
more.
You
I'm
said
gonna find out right
nonsense
now.
for 45
No,
minutes.
It wasn't
You said
nonsense.
and
Will
then
you concede?
I don't care.
Concede that
Okay,
maybe there's a point if Nina Turner raised as much as Chantel Brown?
I'm sorry. I've lost this conversation. I just don't care.
Yeah,
No, I
because you
won't.
did
I
lose
won't
it.
concede the point, because that's not even because she's been shifting the goalposts the entire fucking time, right?
No,
I'm
I'm not
talking
saying-
about we were talking about the fucking alt left and the alt right, right? And then you equivalating those two things, right? And then now somehow she wins if Nina raised as much money as Chantel. Like how?
How did
That's
she
not-
raise as much money?
Oh my God! Never mind.
You said money doesn't play a factor,
No, but hold on.
said that
But
Nina
that's
Turner
I'm
had
saying
money.
you've been shifting this goal and you've been talking about nonsense this entire time. I don't care anymore. Look, Anyway,
Because
to
you
my
like
audience,
Don't
that's
say
fine. That's
Destiny
fine. You
again,
won.
because
That's
if you say
okay.
his name
Take
3
the
times,
win.
he
Take the
shows up and I don't
W.
have
That's
the
fine. I
energy.
literally don't care anymore. I don't give a shit.
I don't
Moving
have the
on to my
energy.
audience. Thank you for joining us. We will continue on to the open walk-on panel. I'm going to give these amazing group of ladies a outro, but this is not the end of the content. We still have more content coming for you right afterwards. Right, we'll continue. Maybe talk about the election results of Nia Turner. We'll talk about all those things. Right, but. We'll just gonna move on. So hit up my social media, !social in chat, and follow us on Twitter for channel updates and stuff like that, and occasionally my thoughts, but no one really cares. Jump into our Discord where we have all these conversations. All the conversations happen in Discord, so be a part of that. We'd love to see you trying to build that community. And subscribe to our YouTube if you have not done so before, because our YouTube is where you'll find the VODs. You'll find this. I'll never look at this again. But you'll find this. You can look at this. If you missed any part of it, find it on YouTube, and you can relive this horrible moment with me. Wonderful. So yeah, that's what you'll find. That like and comment those. Oh my god. All right, everything you find there. All right, so I'm gonna give these amazing group of women an outro. All right, Saren, I'm sorry you had to be
Sorry,
a
Saren.
party
I'm
to all
so
of this.
sorry.
Karen, we love you.
It's okay.
Well,
It's
we
okay.
can have you on like another Amazon Lily where we like have a legit.
Yeah, for sure. I enjoy listening to you guys, not gonna lie. It's entertaining. But okay, I'm Saren Kitty. My Twitch is Saren_Kitty. And then I also have a Twitter, Saren_Kitty. Right now on my stream after the panel, I'm celebrating 300 followers by eating a gross peanut butter sandwiches, peanut butter and pickles, peanut butter and mayo, and then peanut butter and onions.
Yeah, peanut butter.
So that's what I'm
The
doing.
most disgusting part of all that is the peanut butter. I think we can all agree. Peanut butter is
Oh my God.
garbage. But all right. So apparently found another fault line. We're finding so many of them today. Anyway, so
Peanut butter's garbage. You're garbage. Anyways, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Not any of the discussions that drew that out of her. It was the peanut butter comment. All right, anyway. But Saren, thank you so much for joining us and being around and actually stopping by and being a part of this thing. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right. Next, boy, I gotta say nice things about these two. All right. New challenge. So no. I'm just kidding. Look. I love Maddie. Get her fiance here, all right? Tell her he's got competition, all right? I love Maddie. Maddie is an incredible human being. That I'm so thankful that she spends her time. She's like really busy doing like real life politics, right? Not like fake. I'm a politics guy here, like I do, right? She's like a real no fucking around politics lady, right? Making a difference out there, and I don't know. I have nothing but admiration for her, right? And she's just so much sunshine into my veins, right? Like. It should be illegal, but until the feds catch up with this, yes, I'm addicted to Maddie. So, Maddie, please tell the world about yourself.
Hi, I'm Maddie. When I'm taking a step back in a stream or like two people are going at it, like I just meme. And I have little I find different accessories and things to incorporate into that memeing, and it's a good time. But other times, I have a lot to contribute to these conversations and a distinct point of view. So, man, best of both worlds. Sign me up. Listen, Prime, maybe we felt the need to be overly adversarial because we knew you had a bad day so far, and all these people canceled. It's just the four of us here. So we're like, all right, we're going to give these people a show. We're going to give them a show that they're going to remember, and it's going to be fun. And this is a VOD that people are going to watch after we post it. come on, no one's well, if they do rewatch Charlie Kirk arguing about God knows what, love yourself. Love yourself. Choose love for once. But yeah, I'm Maddie. I stream on Twitch as MaddyCakes _. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as madsmaru, spelled MADSMARU. At some point, I'll make it so that they're all MaddyCakes. I just haven't done it yet. And this was, again, I love, like Josie, I make sure my Tuesday nights are free because I love this panel. Even when it is absurd. And I am very excited for Saren to eat all of these ridiculous sandwiches. So yeah, I love you guys. And I love Josie and Prime and Saren, and
I love you too. I do.
We'll bully Alex into saying hi on stream at some point.
Yes, please. I would love to meet him. I'm sure he's an interesting individual.
He's lovely.
Okay, Josie. Here's what I'm going to start off with saying. Topic 1 was the boring one. Topic 1 was the one we were like, oh, we're really going to have a disagreement, right? What's the point? Let's move on to topic 2, the spicy one. How did we do this? What is it? I'm sorry, I don't know what it is, what we have going on here. It's magic, for it's TV magic. But it
is magic, actually. This is why Maddie and I are a dangerous tag team. She just takes that hook and gets that bad take and pulls it, and I just finish it off.
And I lull you into a false sense of security by memeing because you're like, oh, she's just having fun. And then I'm like, that's a logical fallacy.
One day, I swear to God, it's going to be me and Josie arguing about the exact shade of color the sky is. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Right? And it's going to be terrible. Right? And someone's going to flip a table and feelings are going to get hurt. And just...
And then I'll just pop in and go, I don't believe in the sky. I'm like, actually, it's an optical illusion. The sky really doesn't have a color.
That's true.
I don't.
It actually is.
It's just the wavelength that you happen to be seeing.
It's actually a trained behavior in the human brain.
What is blue?
I got evidence to support that one. It's really good historical. You can go in the Homer and find out all that stuff. I'm ready. Let's do it. Prime. Okay. Is the sky actually blue? Let's go.
I live in San Francisco, so the sky is gray. But...
Okay. All right. Well, still, I will say that I appreciate Josie, right? And like I said, I wasn't lying before. At the start of the I started this when I said that when I'm writing these topics, I do think of Josie, right? I think of what is she going to say, right? So I stake my position and okay, what's the most ridiculous fucking thing a human being could say, right? And then Josie doesn't do that. No, she takes a great point, some other great set of points on the other side. Sure, that's what I believe. Anyway, so
do you know how terrified I was for a minute? I saw life flash before my eyes when Josie's like, Maddie, I'm gonna have to disagree with you here, and I was like, no, not me. No.
But no, I actually do think of her, and it really helps me think through is this a really good question, because sometimes they're not. Josie, we can make anything magic, you and I, right? It just used to be you and
I
me,
love it.
And we dig far enough, right? Well, we got a problem. So
yeah.
But Josie, thank you so much, because you are also another busy person, are also into the politics realm, and you're doing work that actually really matters. But you take time out of your very busy life, spend it here with us. Much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prime. And no, I really appreciate all of that, and I find debate and rhetoric a lot of fun. So I never take anything super personal. So don't even worry. But I will say this: Turner rate $4.3 million compared to Shantae Brown's 2.3. Just saying.
It doesn't.
Just saying it.
Hold on. First of all, and dark money fucking matters.
Not,
all right.
We are not. No, children.
So,
children.
But like,
no fighting.
Okay,
after she throws a punch, no fighting. Okay, great. All right. Anyway,
that was
no
definitely
fighting.
a sucker punch.
Right, it was a cheap shot. I'll take it.
Okay.
Anyways, so actually, we were so spicy. I didn't even realize that Lumi actually rated me and like gave me like 120 people. I was going so hard. I didn't even realize that I just had this amazing group of people come in.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm excited to talk to them after we get off here. But
and also, sorry,
yeah,
that proves my point because she raised more money. Yes. But
what?
No, sorry. No, sorry. Actually, I got it back.
Nina raised twice as much.
But like dark
anyway,
money,
sorry.
anyway. But go ahead. Let's go.
Sure, whatever.
Yeah, it is. Right.
There was plenty of. Yeah, I know. Anyways, we don't know. Anyways, all right. Let's go. Let's continue forward. So. Anyways, I really appreciate it. You can find me on Josie Rose C at on Twitch, and you can also join the Discord. We actually have like a fully upgraded Discord. You can find us on discord.gg/lovenest. Go there. It's a lot of fun. You can be one of the cozy lovebirds that are a part of the Love Nest. So we're really excited on how fast that's growing. I'm actually going to be pushing for Discord partner before everything else. So please join the Discord. It's really, really cool. It's really fun.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun. So yeah, you can see me talk about a lot of different things. You can probably find me on the panel or discussing, reacting content about, trans issues and trans rights. I also do trans updates. I haven't done one of those in a while. I need to kind of going over like where we are as a movement as a whole. And yeah, just like having nice logical conversations. Sometimes Maddie will jump in every now and then, probably after this. We'll probably have a little cool down after show. Yeah, so Prime, I really appreciate you. I love the spice. It's a lot of fun. And I'm sure your chat loves it.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Chat loves it. I know
They're
they love
obsessed with us.
Yeah, they are. And I love your chat so much.
Yeah. We love you.
Okay.
That's why we come back every goddamn week.
Yeah.
Because we adore you.
I adore you too. I really do. All right.
All right.
So we're going to roll into our open walk-on panel. Anyone here can join us. But should you? But anyway,
you can, but should you?
But
yeah.
If not, that's okay. I'll live. Thank you for spending your time, your energy, your passion, and your knowledge with my community. I know they appreciate it just as much as I do. Bye.